Bai Lion holds the auction jade, while the world wonders who truly composed those Hall of Fame songs. A secret is about to break, and alliances will shift. Leave a like and subscribe to witness the final rise. Lu's songs are more popular than she is. In the current entertainment industry, few are serious about making music. Only some old predecessors are. Although Yan Lu became famous because of 3 songs, the songs themselves have far surpassed her in popularity. Many people know these few songs, but don't recognize Yan Lu. The quality of the 3 songs is too high, particularly in the mixed bag that is the music industry. Both the composition and the arrangement are worthy of being called Hall of Fame level. Everyone knows that the arranger is Jian Zhangyu, but Jian isn't only skilled at arranging, he's even more famous for his compositions. He is one of the current top 10 composers, and his works like Autumn Peace, Hometown Sounds, Kangshan's White Snow, and others are widely circulated. Netizens unfamiliar with this type of traditional musician only found out about Jian Zhangyu's influence after he became a hot topic. With his status as a Hall of Fame level composer yet arranging for another composer, everyone is speculating about who this Bai Jian could be. However, aside from a Weibo account, the person has not revealed any information, and although there are no secrets in the entertainment industry, even insiders do not know Bai Jian's identity, just like the initial days of Jian Zhangyu. Seeing the WeChat page for a second, the Sirius Castle profile picture, and the straightforward WeChat name, his manager's first thought was of Yan Lu's composer. "I don't know," Mei said, eyes and brows lowered as he clicked to accept the friend request, giving it only a moment's thought. "But it should be Miss Bai." He was easygoing, with sharp, handsome features, and his eyes shone like the divine under the light. Mei's manager also paused, then realized, "Right, you said you wanted to add Miss Bai on WeChat during the recording. Even the boss of Time Entertainment doesn't know who the composer is. How could they add you?" He looked down and saw Mei had sent a message asking if she was Bai Lion. The other party replied with a 1, and Mei added a note. Then he politely typed a line, "The show will air at the end of March." But on the other hand, the manager rubbed his hands, looking at Mei's phone screen, then suddenly said, "Miss Bai also has the surname Bai, the same as that composer. Even the online name is the same." Across the street, Jiang Fulai's ride was a 4-seater car, and this little road beside the school had many street vendors at night, generating some foot traffic. Jiang Fulai parked beside a road under construction. Dressed in a white shirt with a thin sweater over it, strands of hair falling over his forehead, his expression exceptionally cold, he stood under a streetlight making a phone call. "Mr. Maokun has invested 5 million in cash. Miss Bai, your technology evaluation is for 3 million in cash. Party C is the Chen family. Mr. Zyaoki is the executor, and the supervisory board." Kai Yundai was detailing the content to Bai Lion. "I've discussed the management structure with them. All is in order." While he was still talking, he saw Jiang Fulai approaching, and Kai Yundai fell silent. Bai Lion also lowered her head as Jiang Fulai said something to the person on the other side of the phone, then hung up. "Young Master Jiang, I've returned to find Miss Bai and the 3rd young master." Kai Yundai walked over. Su Nanjing was secondary. Jiang Fulai gave him a glance without commenting on his sudden appearance in Xiangcheng, merely grunting in acknowledgement, not adding more. Usually, if nothing as outrageous as last time had happened, and Jiang Ziju was willing to let go, Jiang Fulai often wouldn't interfere too much. He always treasured every minute and second. After Jiang Ziju could stand on his own, few things could pull him away from his experiments and research. Kai Yundai exhaled in relief. He stood watching Bai Lion sit in the front passenger seat. Her phone automatically connected to Bluetooth, and Jiang Fulai slowly drove away. Not until the car mingled with the crowd did Kai Yundai raise his eyebrows slightly and head towards the milk tea shop. Miss Bai really was suitable to deflect hostilities. As for the Miss Bai who was fit to deflect hostilities, she was in the car playing back the original audio. Accustomed to listening to the audio, she discussed with Jiang Fulai about the proposal she had talked over with Ning Zio today. "She's always busy." She was talking about Yang Lin. Jiang Feilai turned right, having no impression of others besides hard rock. But he could always grasp the key points in Bai Lion's conversations, commenting, "You're always busy too." "I was talking about Yang Lin." Bai Lion lazily lowered the car window a bit, not admitting to his statement. "I only immerse myself in academic influence every day. I'm not as busy as you. Jiang Xiaonao said you spend 25 hours out of 24 in the lab each day." She didn't remember at all her activities, from street racing to recording variety shows for Yan Lu to the traditional medicine shop, and then Kai Yundai looking for her today. Jiang Feilai silently reflected. He hadn't even considered the exam problems he had worked through since his senior high school days. Bai Lion had said. The car stopped at Purist Street, and he got out to walk inside with Bai Lion. Bai Lion put on an earpiece and noticed a new email in her inbox, so she clicked to read it. From the Ma Institute, Bai Lion lit up upon seeing the title. A new article, a report explaining his own study. Such articles required devoted reading and understanding. Bai Lion only glanced at the title and abstract, then forwarded it to Jiang Feilai to print, sighing, "The Ma Institute writes really well." Jiang Feilai leaned over to look at the article, skimmed through a few lines, then stood up. "Completely ruthless, mediocre, not as well written as mine." As he spoke, he flipped through his own document library, casually picked a few, and forwarded them to Bai Lion, breezily advising, "Miss Bai, treat yourself to something good." Bai Lion, who knew almost nothing about dark matter. In Jai Heng's courtyard, the embroideress had already left. Jiang He was sitting on the stone table, puzzling over complex Lego sets. When he saw Jiang Feilai approaching, he clumsily covered the puzzle with a small jacket lying nearby. Jai Heng sat on the embroidery stool, holding a needle and contemplating the dark garment on the embroidery frame. "Grandfather!" Bai Lion crossed the steps to enter, and as usual, greeted Jai Heng. Jiang Feilai was right behind her and casually closed the door to the courtyard, glancing at Jiang He without saying a word. Upon seeing Jiang Feilai, Jai Heng showed him the floral design on paper. "Ziojiang, does it look like this?" Bai Lion also looked over. Jai Heng had drawn a Dunhuang auspicious cloud pattern. It looked very wealthy. Jiang Feilai stood beside her, eyes and eyebrows lowered, his voice somewhat gentle. "That's correct." "Then it's settled," Jai Heng nodded, casually picked up the nearby smoking pipe. Having finished the drawing, he now had a plan in mind. Recently, he had been embroidering the same pattern, and he intended to use Jiang Feilai's piece to fend off boredom. Jiang Feilai took Jiang He home, with Jai Heng escorting them out the door. Jiang He waved at Jai Heng reluctantly. Jai Heng lit a cigarette and stood in the doorway watching them leave. The alley had streetlights installed a few months ago, and he stayed until they turned the corner. It wasn't until they were out of sight that he turned back into the courtyard. Bai Lion had never liked watching people leave. The first time she saw someone off was when Jai Shaojun suddenly went to Jiangjing, but that time, she left before Jai Shaojun did. Jai Heng didn't demand this of her. When he turned to close the door, Bai Lion was uncovering Jiang He's jacket to look at his creation, an image he had drawn himself and had made into Lego to scale. "This is custom ordered by Jiang He himself." Jai Heng exhaled a ring of smoke, speaking nonchalantly. "He has to pre-assemble it. I heard it's a birthday present for his brother." Jiang He had confided quietly to Jai Heng about this. Purist Street. Jiang Feilai strolled casually ahead, with Jiang He trying to keep up with large strides behind him. His phone vibrated. It was a message from Bai Lion about his paper applause. After opening it, the two little hands even enlarged for a moment, and Jiang Feilai raised an eyebrow. As the tall and the short reached the car, he pressed the car key to unlock it, and to Jiang He's disbelief, opened the back door for him. Jiang He hesitated before climbing in. He hadn't often enjoyed such treatment, and once seated, he looked at Jiang Feilai in the driver's seat and shifted his legs. "I'm a bit hot." Jiang Feilai glanced at the rearview mirror, started the car, and lowered the rear window slightly. The wind blew in. Jiang He felt a bit elated and a bit thirsty. Jiang Feilai drove onto the main road and casually opened the glove compartment of the front passenger seat, grabbed a bottle of mineral water, and tossed it to Jiang He. His front passenger seat rarely had anyone bold enough to sit there. Ever since Bai Lion started sitting in the back, there was always plenty of food and drink. Jiang caught the mineral water growing bolder. The wind is a bit too. Finally losing his patience, Jiang Fulai gave a cold glance to the back seat. Sit properly. Jiang He. He immediately closed the vent on himself. The car slowly arrived at the residence, and Jiang Fulai parked and walked towards the entrance, where the garden lights were brightly lit. Su Nanjing lounged casually on an elegant recliner, idly scattering a handful of fish food. The koi that he had fed all day were too lazy to nibble again, barely flicking their tails. Seeing Jiang Fulai return, he sat upright, tossing aside the fish food. Jiang Ji! Jiang Fulai nodded towards him and continued inside, while Jiang He trailed behind clutching the bottle of water. Su Nanjing greeted Jiang He. Jiang He didn't even lift his head, ambling along and ignoring him. Look, he only talks to people with high IQs, Su Nanjing said to Xiao Bingwen beside him, paused for a moment, then added, like little sister Bai Lion. Although Jiang He was young and knew few characters, he was innately extremely sharp with numbers. Xiao Bingwen knew that despite Jiang He's young age, many professors valued him highly. His talent set him apart from ordinary geniuses, putting him on par with He Wen and his peers. Hearing Su Nanjing's words, Xiao Bingwen simply said, "Isn't it because of his good looks?" I used to think so too. Su Nanjing thought back to the scene he saw at noon, sighed, and took back the fish feed to continue feeding the koi. Forget it, you wouldn't understand. Xiao Bingwen indeed didn't understand, so he changed the subject. The contract is settled here. I have to go back to Jiangjing in a couple of days. The welcoming party for the newbies at Jiang University is about to start. I wonder if Liang Wuyu will go. And for He Wen, I don't have any solution. What about your grandfathers? The Su family and the Xiao family shared common ancestry, and this summer, a batch of students from Jiangjing University were facing graduation. With fierce competition in the talent market, some would choose to be affiliated with foreign companies. The Su family patriarch entrusted this important task to the Xiao family. Don't worry, he knows exactly what's going on in his mind, Su Nanjing said lazily, leaning against the railing. As for He Wen, he's not someone who can be invited just by. His thoughts suddenly turned to Bai Lion, and he stopped speaking mid-sentence. The next day, Monday, Bai Lion still arrived at the classroom early. She wore her loose school uniform with the zipper pulled all the way up, her hair neatly tied back, and the first thing she did was to look at her deskmate. She was bent over, copying mistakes into her notebook, her hair just below her ears hanging down, completely covering her side face. Bai Lion leisurely withdrew her gaze, set her backpack down, and kicked her chair back before carelessly sitting down. Pu Ziohen came in, yawning, mourning. She greeted Bai Lion and sat down sideways. Seeing Bai Lion on her phone, she thought she was reviewing her lessons. But wait, are you watching a video? Pu Ziohen bent down to see that Bai Lion was watching a jade carving video and hesitated. After all, it was rare to see Bai Lion doing anything other than studying in class. Bai Lion placed her phone on the desk, her left hand resting on the edge of the table, her right hand lazily propping her chin. Modern technology is really advanced. Advanced. Pu Ziohen hesitantly watched the polishing on the screen. Wasn't it just a polisher with some pointed attachments? She didn't understand, but didn't ask any further. Bai Lion continued to watch her videos until the first period when the principal distributed exercises and the teacher explained them. After listening for a while, Bai Lion silently took out her phone and continued watching videos without sound. Wang Qi saw Bai Lion secretly watching her phone and took out a cake to eat in secret. Zhang Shais used to eat with him, but now Wang Qi was alone. The academic director inspected the classes early. Seeing Wang Qi not paying attention and sneaking cake, asking his deskmate if they wanted some, the director knocked on the back door and called him out. The academic director was serious. The college entrance exam is coming up and you're not paying attention in class. What are you eating? Taro Zio by cake, Wang Qi touched his head. Academic director. As everyone knew, Zhang Shais and Wang Qi from class 15 were both fools. Wang Qi reacted only after being called out and returned to his seat with the cake. The chemistry teacher on the stage looked at him coldly. Wang Qi silently put the cake down and glanced at Bai Lion. Bai Lion was still openly watching her phone. Could the chemistry teacher and the academic director not see her? The chemistry teacher on stage could clearly see the conduct of all the students below. It was the first time the chemistry teacher had seen Bai Lion playing with her phone in class. She must have her reasons for being on her phone. The chemistry teacher even suspected she was studying a difficult problem on her phone. "No way, big sister Lion," Wang Qi, sitting on Zhang Shai's desk, one foot on the ground, leaned over to watch for a long time before realizing it was just a video of jade polishing. "Are you watching this for hypnosis?" Bai Lion slowly looked up, her slender finger sliding to the next video. "Anyway, I don't eat taro ziobai." "Damn, ha taro ziobai." Several others in the class laughed, and from then on, Wang Qi, like Zhang Shai's, forever lost his own name. Ziobai, Ziobai, Ziobai. Monday afternoon's last period was always homeroom. The students in the class worked much harder this semester than before, so Lu Lingxi didn't have as much to remind them about. After the class, she asked Bai Lion to stop by the office. Class had just ended, the hallway was crowded, and Bai Lion didn't push through the crowd. Pu Ziohen, Ning Zio, and the others were waiting in the classroom for Bai Lion. Bai Lion had been watching videos for almost the entire day, and now she finally opened the app to check this month's challenge questions. Her ranking climbed quickly, already surpassing Ning Zio. She received many messages, but most of the red dots were blocked by the plugin Jiang Fulai sent her. Only the official message turned from a private message into a banner at the top. The 5.1 app meetup will be held at the Jiangjing University Auditorium. Transportation and accommodation expenses will be reimbursed. Please fill out personal information as required. By Lion glanced at it and swiped past. She didn't fill it out. 3 minutes later, the crowd thinned out and Bai Lion picked up her phone and walked outside as an unfamiliar phone call came in. A landline from Jiangjing. She guessed it was a call from Su En's office and answered it. "Hello," the voice on the other end was unfamiliar, tinged with curiosity. "May I speak with Bai Jian?" Second update, one Bai Lion turned a corner and sidestepped two students coming downstairs, heading down. She raised an eyebrow. "And you are?" The voice on the phone clearly hesitated for a moment, as they probably weren't expecting a girl to answer. Only hesitating for 2 seconds, it continued. "I am the main person in charge of the Jiangjing University app. May I ask if you are the owner of this phone?" The app registration required only an invitation code and a phone number. That's all their backend could retrieve. Walking upstairs with her head down, Bai Lion replied nonchalantly, "Yes, it's me." The curiosity increased on the other end of the line. The annual freshman mixer is starting soon, to be held at the Jiangjing University Auditorium. There will be senior students sharing their experiences. "We haven't received your information yet. Aren't you planning to come?" Emphasis was placed on Jiangjing University and the senior students, hinting at a great opportunity to expand one's network. It was rare for anyone to miss it each year. Except for Su Jiu and Liang Wuyu, everyone was quite curious about this Bai Jian who had suddenly appeared. After all, she had already become the standard for answers. With those two also taking an interest in her, many were eager to learn who she really was. Bai Lion politely declined. "Sorry, I don't have the time." She said a couple more words and hung up the phone. Meanwhile, in the office at the comprehensive building of Jiangjing University, the bespectacled young man was still holding the phone to his ear. People around him grew impatient. "What did she say? Who is it? Did you find out? Will she come?" Everyone in the office looked at him. The young man came back to his senses, pausing slightly. "Don't know, she probably won't come. A female student." "Ask her again." Someone beside him grabbed his arm pleadingly. "You must convince her to come. Do you know how many are searching for information about her?" On the second floor, when Bai Lion arrived at the office, only Lu Lingxi was there. Seeing Bai Lion, she smiled gently without speaking right away. Bai Lion was in no hurry and patiently waited on the side. About 2 minutes later, Lu Lingxi finally opened a drawer and took out a stack of money. "Bai Lion, this is Yang Lin's medical fee." She handed the money to Bai Lion. Bai Lion tucked her phone into her pocket and did not accept the money, only looking at Lu Lingxi, her eyes deep and inscrutable. Is this from you on her behalf? She knew that Lu Lingxi had always been concerned about Yang Lin, and that for a time, even Yang Lin's tuition fees were paid by Lu Lingxi. No, it isn't, Lu Lingxi sighed lightly, knowing she could not deceive Bai Lion. It's from someone else on behalf of Yang Lin. As to who it was, she did not say. Yang Lin will pay back the money she owes me herself, Bai Lion said calmly, still very polite. Is there anything else, teacher? Lu Lingxi may have anticipated this response. She put the money back into the drawer, sighing deeply. Forget it. I'll give it back to her. You better head home. Bai Lion noticed the teacher's use of ta and returned to her class, leaving with Pu Ziohen and others. What did Lu Mom want with you? Pu Ziohen asked Bai Lion curiously. Yang Lin had dashed off right after class for her part-time job at the milk tea shop. Bai Lion started to fib. She asked if I was under a lot of pressure. It's definitely a lot of pressure with only 90 days left, Pu Ziohen believed without doubt, feeling a bit melancholic. After the exams, we'll be in different cities. Today was Monday. After writing homework in the milk tea shop for a while, Bai Lion packed up her bag. Why are you going home so early today? Pu Ziohen looked up. With an indifferent shrug, Bai Lion threw her backpack on and stood up, her loose hair casually framing her eyes, her tone lazy. Yeah, got something to do. Purist Street. Mao Kun was helping the store manager carry stock, his blonde hair accompanied by a towel over his shoulder. The boss, while lugging beer, looked worriedly at the bruise on his face. Did you get into a fight? Stop carrying, I'll do it. I fell on the stairs. Mao Kun quietly moved the beer inside. You think I'm a fool? The boss didn't believe him for a second. Seeing Bai Lion saunter slowly by, he said to her, always fighting, and now he's trying to fool me. Dressed in her blue and white school uniform, with her black bag slung over one shoulder, Bai Lion blinked, gazing earnestly at the boss, her expression innocent and voice sincere. He really did fall. I watched him fall. The boss hurriedly turned back. Look at you, how can you be so careless? Mao Kun. Second update, 2, he grumpily finished moving the goods, then wiped his hands with a towel before picking up a red bag from the ground and handing it to Bai Lion. I found these at the auction, but why did you buy such expensive things, sis? Mao Kun had never seen Bai Lion purchase anything substantial. This was her first time buying something so expensive, and it was 2 items at that. 20,000 apiece. Opening the bag, Bai Lion glanced inside. There were 2 pieces of jade, square in shape around 4 to 5 centimeters each, with some slight imperfections, uncarved. She took out one piece and held it up to the streetlight, squinting. The clear base with water-like inclusions in the jade made her complexion appear cool and pale. When it was bought, Mao Kun didn't think it looked very nice, but now, under the streetlight, he thought his sister had a good eye. Where are the tools? She asked. It'll take a few more days, Mao Kun replied, sipping on the milk the boss had given him, his eyes slightly narrowed. They're rare in Xiancheng, usually shipped from Danping City. Okay. Bai Lion stuffed the jade back into her pocket and took a box of Wangzai milk, methodically unwrapping the straw. Have you signed the contract? Signed it ages ago, Mao Kun grinned. Zioki is handling things in Jiangjing. When are you heading over there? After the college entrance exams, Bai Lion replied nonchalantly. Throughout the entire month of March, Yan Lu's popularity in the entertainment circle refused to wane. In mid-March, Come Here Friend began its marketing, with plans for a simultaneous broadcast on Jiangjing TV station and online at the end of the month. Once the news broke, those outside the entertainment industry were rather oblivious to its significance. But inside the circle, there was astonishment. Getting on satellite TV was tough enough, let alone on Jiangjing TV station, where variety show auditing had become increasingly challenging over the past 2 years. Who could have known that Come Here Friend would pass Jiangjing TV station's audit? Once the positioning of Come Here Friend was known, countless entertainers eagerly reached out to the show's team, expressing their desire to join the program. Friday, after school in the afternoon, Bai Lion picked up her backpack, her eyes fixed on the problems displayed in the app. Pu Ziohen was introducing a good shampoo to Yang Lin. Beside them, Tang Ming was asking Bai Lion about the social event he had seen mentioned in a message long ago. Ning Zio had never brought it up with her. "Are you going to the mixer mentioned there?" Without looking up, Bai Lion gave him 2 words, "Not going." It was just like her. Ning Zio wouldn't go either. Tang Ming was slightly interested, but with neither of them going, he couldn't be bothered either. Is Sister Lu's show being broadcast simultaneously next Sunday? Yes. Wang Chi's eyes lit up with excitement. The show's official announcement has been made, and everyone must watch it the moment it airs. Bebe. The tall boy next to him rested his hand on Wang Chi's shoulder, raising an eyebrow. "Weren't you a diehard fan of Manzai?" Wang Chi immediately wiped the smile from his face and expressionlessly pulled the boy's hand off. It wasn't clear whether he was unhappy with being called Bebe or with the mention of Manzai. Ning Zio went straight home after the evening school, and Bai Lion, aware of his grandmother's health situation, didn't ask further. As she stepped out of the school gates, she saw Jiang Fulai waiting at the corner. Su Nanjing wasn't on his cool motorcycle but sitting in the back seat, having nearly finished his busy tasks, though he hadn't returned to Jiangjing. As Bai Lion approached, Jiang Fulai, touching his Bluetooth earpiece, his brows slightly furrowed, exuded a sharp chill in the evening sunlight. When he saw Bai Lion, he handed her the printed paper. "Bai Lion, are you reading this?" Su Nanjing got out of the car, loosely holding sunglasses, his fingertips pointing towards the paper Bai Lion had taken, showing a moment of hesitation. He had always thought it was something Jiang Fulai, the specialist, was reading. Bai Lion nodded her head. "Any problem?" Su Nanjing snapped back to reality, recalling the matter with He Wen, and shook his head. It seems there isn't." Jiang Fulai took off his Bluetooth earpiece and put it in his pocket. He turned slightly, his gaze sweeping past Su Nanjing and settling on Bai Lion. "Going straight home." Bai Lion, looking at the messages on her phone, replied in a drawl, "Not heading back just yet. I'm thinking of buying a TV." She had received several messages during class. Dean Jian was always timely. As soon as Bai Lion opened the message, one popped up, "No new songs this month." Bai Lion. Soon, she continued scrolling through her messages. Jiang Fulai looked down at her, feeling hesitant for the first time. "A TV?" "Yeah," Bai Lion replied to a few messages, including some from Mei Yi and Yan Lu. Lifting her gaze slightly, she continued, "Grandpa doesn't have a TV at home, and next Sunday I might want to watch TV." The show with Yan Lu, and after that. Second update, 3. There was also Daeyoung. Jai Heng liked to listen to the radio, he didn't have a TV at home. Next to him, Su Nanjing reacted quickly. "Little sister Bai Lion I brought." Before he could finish, he saw Jiang Fulai standing beside him with the car keys, tall and elegant, watching him with a calm and lofty presence, his eyes cold and proud as if nothing had changed from before. But Su Nanjing could sense a hint of lethal intent, spilling from those light-colored eyes. He forcefully changed the subject. "My big brother Jiang, he has a great eye for selecting TVs." Jiang Fulai left without him, and Su Nanjing stood there alone, forlorn, watching the black car disappear into the distance. He stroked his chin. What TV to watch on Sunday? He was not familiar with entertainment, so he took out his smartphone to consult with Zio Bingwen. Zio Bingwen was in Jiangjing, and he quickly returned the call, his voice sounding a bit tired. "Nanjing, I'm not sure about what TV, but Yan Lu seems to have a variety show." Su Nanjing was just asking casually. His eyes caught sight of a milk tea shop and he strode towards it, his tone indifferent. "Is something up on your end?" "Somewhat," Zio Bingwen said, massaging his temples softly. "At the freshman mixer at Jiang University, someone remarkably talented has appeared, someone who could potentially rival Liang Wuyu. But I haven't gotten any insider information. I heard Liang Wuyu is going there too, targeting that person." The milk tea shop was busy. Su Nanjing glanced around and queued up among the crowd, his expression serious. "Who?" Meanwhile, at Tianhuan, in the studio of the popular artist Liu Yang. Liu Yang had just finished his work, and none of the staff in the studio had left for the day yet. An assistant cleaned up his desk, picked up his smartphone, and saw a notification. "Come here, friend, has a premiere date set. Jiangjing TV station will broadcast concurrently online, and Yan Lu's guest is Mei Ye. He spoke out instinctively. Behind him, Lu Yang, clad in a designer outfit, saw his smile disappear in an instant. The agent, aware of the show's recent popularity, followed with a sigh. From Jiangjing Music Academy, going on Jiangjing's satellite TV, and that composer we were going to. Lu Yang was originally supposed to be the guest on the show with Yan Lu. Realizing Lu Yang's mood had soured, the agent swiftly changed the subject. But look at the netizens' comments. Even though the show is trending, it's not necessarily good for them. Variety shows need to have impact. It's not like filming a drama. The agent opened the official Weibo account for Come Here Friend and found a teaser video posted there, less than a minute long. It was mysteriously edited, and the netizens could not discern much from it. Doesn't teacher Mei Yi rarely appear on variety shows? Am I the only one who thinks he's not cut out for it? Honestly, neither of them seems right for variety shows. From the trailer, other than teacher Mei Yi, the rest are outsiders, and there are even a few students whose faces aren't shown. A lot of outsiders. Then there's really nothing worth watching. Yan Lu's networking in the entertainment circle is poor, isn't it? Why didn't she invite Bai Jian and Dean Jian? If they were on the show, wouldn't it explode with popularity? I also thought Yan Lu could get at Jian, and at Jian Zhangyu to come, somewhat disappointed. Anyway, since those two bigwigs behind Yan Lu didn't show up, we'll just appreciate Yan Lu and Mei Yi's looks. If it's outsiders, let it be outsiders. The focus isn't on them anyway, who cares who they are? Families' true prodigy ones suppress each other. Look, Lu Yang's agent shrugged nonchalantly, netizens all say there's nothing worth watching. Yes, netizens say there's nothing to see, but they didn't say they wouldn't watch. Given Yan Lu's and the show's increasing popularity, as long as the two of them didn't make any major mistakes, the program's heat would still be very high. Most importantly, Yan Lu's arranger, Jian Zhangyu, was a true master of art, and the lyricist and composer who hadn't appeared yet, although not yet seen, had a name that resonated through the music world. Lu Yang looked down and slowly fastened his buttons, saying nothing. He had debuted with the persona of a noble son, and at the time Yan Lu was being criticized all over the internet. The studio worried about affecting his image, and after weighing the options, they decided to give up on this opportunity. My fault, the agent stared at the phone, sighed. I shouldn't have let them make that call. It's too rare to receive charcoal in snowy weather to form such a modest but precious friendship. Now all they could hope for was that Come Here Friend would not become a huge hit, so that Lu Yang and his heart could feel a bit better. As soon as Come Here Friend was officially announced, the buzz didn't die down. All the major video self-media were riding on this popularity, analyzing what the refined Mei Yi and the cold beauty Yan Lu could possibly do together. Xiancheng, Electronic City. Bai Lion took off her coat, wearing only a Chinese button-up shirt. After getting out of the car, she stretched languidly, casually looking for the elevator sign. On the other side, Jiang Fulai took the car keys. This way? Bai Lion had already walked to the middle. She lifted her chin towards the left, her voice lazy, having seen the elevator around the corner. The phone rang, still that call from Jiangjing. If it wasn't for the fact that the caller was from Jiangjing University, and, in a way, belonged to the same lineage as her, Bai Lion was a little tempted to block the number. Classmate! The man's voice on the other end of the phone was already helpless, having tried to persuade her for so long to no avail. His eyes darted around. We have a top 10 app commemorative gift. Can I have an address to send it to you? Bai Lion waited for Jiang Fulai to come over, smiled. No need. Ah, the voice on the other end sounded disappointed. It's a unique cultural creation of our first president, a little copper figure. The first president. Bai Lion's hand tightened, unsure if it was the person she was thinking of. Can I pick it up myself? Ah. The person was not accustomed to this request, paused. Oh, that's fine, I'll give you the address. He quickly repeated the address, then added, Is it too long or too complicated? Haha, I'll add you on WeChat and directly send you the detailed address. Thank you, Bai Lion slowly said. I'll have my uncle come and pick it up. Clearly, she remembered it. The other person. On Friday evening, there were more people in the Electronic City than usual. When Bai Lion and Jiang Fulai stepped out of the elevator, they attracted quite a few stares. Both had straight backs and were exceptionally stunning to look at. "You too!" The salesperson saw them coming in, and even though they were in a mall, it felt like she was suddenly dazzled by sunlight and said with uncertainty, "Are you here to buy a TV?" Bai Lion wore a Chinese button-up shirt with blue school uniform pants, a white earbud in her left ear, and loosely held a Huami phone in her hand. Upon hearing the question, she smiled politely at the salesperson and nodded. "Yes." Jiang Fulai followed behind her without a word. His daily life was dull, accompanied most often by books and computers, spending much of his time in the laboratory. He kept his brows restrained, his usual aloof demeanor. The salesperson was captivated by Bai Lion and led her to the TVS, making introductions as they went. Because of their distinguished presence, she subconsciously directed them to the high-end area. Bai Lion glanced at the prices, tilted her head slightly. "Are there any cheaper ones?" The salesperson was momentarily stunned, then quickly guided them to another section. "These are considerably less expensive." Bai Lion nodded, looking at the TVs without showing much understanding. Behind her, Jiang Fulai picked up a nearby brochure. His fingers were long and well-manicured, and after casually flipping through a few pages and examining the specifications, he put it down. "The resolution is too low, it won't do." Next one. "This one is too small, not suitable for your grandfather's house." "Refresh rate is too low. It doesn't even support HDR, why buy it?" At first, the salesperson was enthusiastically introducing TVs to Bai Lion, but eventually she couldn't get a word in edgewise. If it weren't for Jiang Fulai's intimidating presence, she might have cursed it out loud. "Enough with the chatter, Master Jiang." Bai Lion glanced at him. Then she pointed to a TV that Jiang Fulai hadn't berated too harshly. "Thank you, this one will do." Jiang Fulai just followed behind her, his gaze shifting towards a nearby bestseller priced at $99.99 that he thought was passable. After all that picking, he felt this one was acceptable. Families' true prodigy too suppress each other. His gaze on the $99.99 was too obvious. Bai Lion stretched out her hand and poked his arm with her cell phone, lazily warning him, "Try buying it." Jiang Fulai struggled to take his eyes off it. After buying the TV, Bai Lion brought it back. Jai Heng was embroidering flowers in the yard when he saw Bai Lion enter with a cardboard box, with Jiang Fulai lazily trailing behind her, a black backpack slung over his arm. "What's that?" Jai Heng put down his needle. "A TV." Bai Lion placed the television set in the living room, cleared the tobacco and a heap of messy wires off the left cabinet, along with the big cabbage plush pillow, and moved them onto a nearby chair, preparing to set up the TV there. Jai Heng followed behind, took a look, and brought the pillow back to his room. His living space used to have few possessions: cooking utensils, furniture, tobacco, and a tobacco pipe. Now, the living room was filled with puzzles belonging to Jiang He, odd pieces of disassembled electric motors, and copper wires that Bai Lion had brought home, not to mention the plush pillows. There was even a small machine in the storehouse a while ago. Jai Heng felt that his courtyard was about to explode with stuff. "Uncle Jai," an embroideress walked by, and upon seeing, smiled. "Alien bought you a TV. Now your home will be lively. I've long said you should watch more TV when you have nothing to do." With his tobacco pipe in hand, Jai Heng grunted in agreement as he watched Jiang Fulai flip through the manual, connecting the TV to the network. Jai Heng's place used to have no internet until Bai Lion, worried that young people would be bored without it, made sure to wire the courtyard. Now, it certainly came in handy for setting up the TV. Bai Lion wasn't too good with such electrical things, so she watched Jiang Fulai do the setup. Operating the TV wasn't difficult. After installation, Jiang Fulai switched the TV on. While Bai Lion was out getting something, he casually activated all the annual memberships, about 6 of them. Bai Lion came back with 2 backrests made by Jai Heng, only to find Jiang Fulai putting away his phone. She set down the chairs. "What are you up to?" "Nothing." Jiang Fulai bent down, slowly picking up the remote control. If she knew he had purchased memberships that almost equaled the price of the TV. Jiang Fulai cleared his throat, then called Jai Heng over to teach him how to use it. Evening. After Jiang Fulai left, Bai Lion was busy in a small room next door. Outside, Jai Heng was video calling with Jai Sheajun, showing off the living room TV. Shen Qing peered over and saw an advertisement playing on the TV on Jai Heng's side. "Dad, did you get a TV?" "The alien bought it." Jai Heng blew a smoke ring, a faint smile on his face. "She has a friend whose variety show is airing next Sunday. Make sure you guys watch." On the other end of the phone, Jai Sheajun's face also rarely showed a smile. The butler and a middle-aged man with gold-rimmed glasses sat opposite, not interrupting the family gathering, quietly listening about Bai Lion having a friend in the entertainment industry, though it didn't seem like a big deal to them. It wasn't until Jai Heng asked him that the butler looked up and spoke to Jai Heng. "Mr. Jai has great talent. Why did you let him go study art?" As he spoke, the butler seemed somewhat regretful because Jai Sheajun was very smart, almost catching on to things instantly. Jai Heng didn't respond, but Jai Sheajun spoke up. "I liked art myself." "I understand, it just feels like a pity. If you had grown up in the Mu family, you could have had access to the best resources," the butler said, sighing. "Perhaps you would have worked on research with Mr. Mu Qiang." "Mr. Mu Qiang?" Jai Sheajun and Shen Qing heard this name for the first time. "Mr. Mu Qiang is the only son of the second master, a rare genius appearing once in 100 years in the Mu family," the butler said with bright eyes. "He skipped grades all the way, started his doctorate at 22, a Mensa member. Back then, our Mu family had such glory. He didn't continue after that. Jai Sheajun knew about the young generation of the Mu family almost being completely gone and didn't ask further." Shen Qing picked up the phone, changing the subject. "Dad, where's Alien?" She took the phone to her room to talk with Bai Lion, and Bai Lion's voice faintly came through. "Aunt, can you and Uncle help me pick something up tomorrow?" After the others went in, the butler turned to Jai Sheajun. "Why doesn't your father want to come to Jiangjing?" He was asking about Jai Heng. "He won't leave." Jai Sheajun closed a file and paused, then added, "But that was before." What do you mean?" The butler sat up straight. "You know Alien. My dad has never bowed his head for anybody over these many years for my sister, but she is different." Bai Lion persuaded him. Jai Sheajun also wasn't sure, but Jai Heng had too many things in Purist Street that he couldn't bear to part with. "Niece," the butler recalled Bai Lion, but the impression wasn't deep. "I remember, isn't she a high school student?" "Yes," Jai Sheajun nodded. "She's about to take the college entrance exam. When she comes to Jiangjing, my dad may not be able to let go of his worries." The butler nodded, discussed today's tasks with Jai Sheajun, and then left. After going out, the middle-aged man with glasses beside him couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Jai's niece?" "She's now in Xiancheng," the butler replied. After Jai Sheajun came back, they only checked on Jai Sheajun and Jai Sheorong's information. As for Shen Qing, Bai Lion, and the others, they hardly did any research. "The college entrance exam is starting again this year, huh?" They didn't talk much about Bai Lion, and the topic quickly shifted elsewhere. "This year, only one person from the collateral branches is taking the college entrance exam," the middle-aged man said softly. "I am not expecting him to achieve the top position like Mr. Mu Qiang, but it would be a blessing from Mr. Mu Qiang in heaven if he makes it into the top 10, the butler said, trembling as he leaned on his cane and stepped down the stairs. The next day, 6 o'clock, Bai Lion woke up, and as soon as she opened her bedroom door, she heard the faint sound of a TV from the living room. Jai Heng woke up very early today. He cooked porridge and bought fried dough sticks and egg pancakes, now sitting in the living room watching the local TV station's news. Today, Kai Yundai would personally check on Zhang Shai's, leaving Bai Lion and Jiang Fulai some time to themselves. Bai Lion leisurely finished brushing her teeth and went to the small room next door, where a carving machine was placed, surrounded by a pile of other tools she had taken apart. Jai Heng would always come here when he couldn't find something. She sat on a small stool, with 2 almost identical pieces of clear-bottomed jade on the machine table. The jade had plenty of water, and at nearly 1 centimeter thickness, it was transparent even against the hand. But due to cracks and a small piece of yellow jade, both had flaws, so they were priced low. For 20,000 yuan, The seller probably didn't dare to ask for a high price from Mao Kun and gave them to Mao Kun at the raw stone's original price. The 2 pieces of jade had been roughed out. The main outlines of the god of longevity and the Kylin were fully sketched, with the approximate shapes pushed out, and the high and low points were clear. Bai Lion picked up a piece of jade and started to outline the god of longevity's finer details on the roughened surface. She skillfully incorporated the peach onto the spot of yellow jade. Her drawing skills were always good, but her carving skills hadn't caught up. She had been studying the jade carving machine for over half a month, and after she finished drawing, she used a triangular awl to outline the edges. Bai Lion's drawing looked pretty, but the carving turned out to be passable at best, not particularly attractive. She lowered her head, slowly finished the rough outline, made a few more adjustments, then put down the jade pendant, feeling that she should stop for the day or risk ruining it. That she hadn't wrecked the piece until today was entirely because it was expensive, and she didn't dare apply too much force. When she stepped out of the room, she immediately saw Jiang Fulai standing under the banyan tree. It wasn't quite 8 o'clock, and the sunlight wasn't too intense. Specks of light scattered through the leaves and landed on his face, which was mostly cast in shadow. He wore a casual white outfit, a printed paper curled in his left hand as he lightly tapped it against his palm. "I didn't see you come out," he said with his back to the sunlight, standing under the shade of the tree, speaking at a leisurely pace. "I thought you might have forgotten while watching TV." He looked at Bai Lion, his light-colored eyes concentrating, but since he didn't see her, he had come to find her. Bai Lion was rarely late. After saying a word to Jai Heng, she left with Jiang Fulai. After they left, the aunt by Jai Heng's side smiled and spoke with a bit of emotion. "Uncle Jai, look how great Xiaojiang is, and Alien too. When little Shen was sick, you saw how she was even steadier than you. If my own child could be 1% as worry-free as they are." Jai Heng put down his needle, heard the words, and just smiled without responding. Bai Lion and Jiang Fulai were both young, merely naive youths stepping into society in Jai Heng's eyes. Having been through so much, Jai Heng knew well that no one is born invincible or phoenix reborn. It takes immense ups and downs in life to reach such a state. After all his experiences, he felt he was not as stable as the 2 of them. Meanwhile, in Jiangjing, Shen Qing and Jai Shaojun both got up early. Jai Shaojun had finished his training and then asked his teacher for leave. During his time in Jiangjing with Shen Qing, when they had neither training nor classes, they rarely went out. This was the first time he asked the training manager for leave, who was momentarily stunned and quickly reported to the butler. The call from the butler came swiftly. Jai Shaojun had just left, and Shen Qing was checking the unfamiliar bus schedules. "Are you going out?" Every day Jai Shaojun was personally taught something, and it was only on weekends that the company's manager would take a break from teaching him hands-on skills. The butler was surprised by Jai Shaojun's request for leave. "Is there an emergency?" "Yes." Jai Shaojun had only found out the night before during rest time from Shen Qing that Bai Lion needed them to pick up something for her. "Alien needs us to pick up something, it's at University, broadcast, second update." One on the other end of the phone, the butler looked up at the curtain hanging in front of the door. He slowly let out a breath. When he received the manager's call, he thought Jai Shaojun must have had some important event to attend to and had no choice but to ask the manager for leave. He was now calling to ask if Jai needed any help. After hearing Jai Shaojun's explanation, did he realize it was not a big deal, but rather a task of fetching something for his niece? The butler was somewhat puzzled. From what he knew of Jai Shaojun, Jai was smart and could prioritize tasks. It seemed unlikely that Jai would do this. "You mean you're taking leave?" The butler interrupted Jai Shaojun, discussing with him, "just to fetch something for your niece. It's not easy for the manager to find time to teach you, is this thing? So important that you have to fetch it. Alien rarely asks for my help," Jai Shaojun explained. Unable to persuade him, the butler said, "All right, then come back early." After hanging up the phone, the butler looked towards the direction of the curtain, from behind which an aged voice asked, "Jai Shaojun?" "Yes, him." The butler put his phone back in his pocket, leaned on his cane with one hand and placed the other on his chest, bowing slightly in a very humble manner. He took leave to fetch a package for his niece. Actually, Mr. Jai is quite intelligent. The aged voice answered indifferently, then fell silent. He didn't ask what Jai Shaejun went to do, nor did he inquire who the niece was. After what the Mu family had been through with Mu Kyong, who else would dare claim to be smart? Others couldn't hold a candle to the late young master, Mu Kyong, in the eyes of the old master. The butler, with his head down, didn't wait for further instructions. He bowed slightly and left quietly. The Chang in line. Shen Qing and Jai Shaejun got off the bus. Shen Qing looked across at Jiangjing University's quaint gatehouse with many people taking photos. Are you sure it's here? Could Alien have made a mistake? Don't know. Jai Shaejun looked down at his phone, which displayed his conversation with Bai Lion, and he read it again, Chang'an District, 556 Zior Avenue, First Campus Administrative Building, room 303 on the third floor. Below it was a phone number. He led Shen Qing across the street, looked up at the address beside them, and confirmed it was number 556. Jai Shaejun rarely messaged Bai Lion, "Is your thing at Jiangjing University?" Alien. Yeah, Alien. What's up? Nothing much. Jai Shaejun silently put away the phone and approached the security guard. After checking their IDS and visitor log, the guard warmly let them in. You two are heading to the complex building, right? See that bus stop in front? Just take the bus when it comes and get off at the 7th stop. Jai Shaejun took note, walked towards the bus stop with calm composure, trying to appear as if it wasn't his first time at such a place. Shen Qing clutched Jai Shaejun's sleeve, swallowed nervously, and looked around uneasily. Jiangjing University was a place beyond her wildest dreams. She had never imagined she would enter one day. What kind of thing does Alien have here? With many students and some from other schools coming to attend lectures passing by, nobody seemed to notice they looked like country bumpkins marveling at sophisticated surroundings. Shen Qing gradually relaxed. They soon found the administrative building and entered room 303. The office in room 303 was small, with a long table in the middle and 8 chairs on each side. 5 people were arranging documents inside. A round-faced man approached to ask whom Jai Shaejun and Shen Qing were looking for. Upon hearing they were fetching something for Bai Lion, the round-faced man's eyes widened. You are Bai Jian's uncle and aunt. Nice to meet you, uncle and aunt. Upon hearing the name Bai Jian, the other 4 people looked over curiously. The round-faced man shook hands with Jai Shaejun and Shen Qing, invited them inside, and poured them tea. Please wait, my colleague is bringing the memorabilia. In the meantime, he tried to subtly gather information about Bai Lion. Jai Shaejun was cautious, always able to keep his composure. Holding his teacup, he expertly avoided their probing questions. The office staff didn't manage to learn much and were slightly disappointed. 10 minutes later, the memorabilia was delivered. The man handed it to Jai Shaejun with a formal gesture. This is Bai Jian's student's commemorative medal. Jai Shaejun looked at the exquisite gift box in the man's hand, with a landscape painting on the outside and just the word Liang. Not knowing what was inside, but seeing how seriously the man regarded it, he accepted with both hands. Thank you, comrade. You're welcome, the man smiled, looking down at the medal. This medal is quite hard to come by. Only 8 newcomers received it this year, and your niece is the first to not collect it in person. University broadcast, second update, 2. Upon hearing this, Jai Shaejun was even more surprised. In his mind, he wondered what kind of medal had Bai Lion actually received. At the end of March the 31st, Sunday, Bai Lion came back from the library very early, and after asking Wang Qi about "Come Here, Friend" airing on the channel, she sat down in front of the TV with a stack of papers by 7 o'clock. Since there was an extra television in the house, Jai Heng had made 2 new chairs with backs in the last couple of days, placing them opposite the tea table. The TV screen wasn't big, but Jai Heng's living room was small, so the distance was just right. Director Chen sat near the door, with Jai Heng beside him, Jiang He next to Jai Heng, and Bai Lion and Jiang Fulai beside Jiang He. What's on TV today? Director Chen didn't know what was playing today. He sat beside Jai Heng, and the 2 of them shelled peanuts together. Is Great Yang airing yet? No, director Chen remembered that Great Yang wasn't set to air until May. Yan Lu's variety show. Bai Lion listened to the commercial jingle and leisurely flipped a page of her paper. A pen was wedged between her right hand's pinky and ring fingers. Yan Lu, director Chen remembered this girl. He had dealt with her case before. Bai Lion's phone was on her lap, continuously vibrating with messages. The Class 15 group chat. Wang Qi. At email protected, everyone pay attention. Come here, friend is about to start. Wang Qi. At email protected, everyone pay attention. Come here, friend is about to start. Wang Qi. At email protected. Bai Lion. Who's the admin? Get him to manage this. Within 2 seconds, Wang Qi had been removed as an admin. Pu Ziohen. Hey, Bebe. Bai Lion switched back to WeChat, where Jai Shaojun's video call had come through, and she answered it, turning the camera towards Jai Heng's side. On this side of the phone, Jai Shaojun greeted Jai Heng and Director Chen, and upon seeing Director Chen there so late, he asked, Ziochen, why are you all there? Yan Lu's TV show. Director Chen leaned in to explain to Jai Shaojun. They are all prepared to support Yan Lu. Jai Shaojun also remembered, right, I'm about to watch it too. As he spoke, Jai Shaojun turned on the TV and asked Director Chen which channel it was on. Shen Qing didn't know how to operate the TV here, so she left it to Jai Shaojun. Just then, the doorbell rang. She went to answer it. It was the butler and Zioji. Butler! Shen Qing always behaved very formally towards the butler. She stepped back to let the butler in. The butler walked a couple of steps inside just in time to hear Jai Shaojun calling out to Ziochen. Who is he talking to on the phone? He was a bit surprised. Jai Shaojun had very few friends besides a group of students and colleagues, and the name didn't sound like Bai Lion or Jai Heng's. After closing the door, Shen Qing explained, he's on the phone with his family. Alien's Friends TV show is starting tonight. Ziochen is at her grandfather's house watching with Ziojiang and Jianghe. As she spoke, Shen Qing started to feel homesick. The butler felt a headache listening to the litany of names and raised his hand to stop her from continuing. Jai Shaojun adjusted the TV and a smile appeared on his face. Right, the show hasn't started yet. Also, Alien, should I send you your medal? No need. Bai Lion's voice, somewhat distorted, came through the radio. I'll come to pick it up during the summer vacation. The butler quietly sat down on the sofa and placed his walking stick to the side. Shen Qing talked to the butler. Alien's medal, it's very beautiful. The butler, lost in thought, gave a perfunctory upon hearing this, clearly not paying attention to Shen Qing's mention of Bai Lion's medal. After Jai Shaojun hung up the phone, the butler finally looked towards him. Now that the initial assessment phase is over, Mr. Jai, are you ready to change your surname and transfer your household registration? Jai Shaojun was also quite silent. He had moved his household registration away when he got married to Shen Qing. These things didn't matter, but changing his surname. Zioji stood next to the butler. Mr. Jai, once you transfer your registration, you'll have Jiangjing household registration, still within Chang'an district. Nowadays, so many people couldn't get Jiangjing registration even if they wanted to. I know, Jai Shaojun nodded. I'll discuss it with my father tomorrow and then transfer. The butler knew Jai Shaojun wouldn't refuse these things. He talked with Jai Shaojun about some details and prepared for the gene verification. 8 o'clock. Come Here, Friend started airing on the TV station on time. After the opening credits, the show featured Yan Lu welcoming teacher Mei Ye. They were fine on the variety show. It's just that they didn't talk much, lacking chemistry. The live commentary was blunt. These two are a bit dull, huh? Surely the whole episode isn't like this. They should bring on some industry insiders. There's another episode later. Aren't there a few students in the promo video too? What's Yan Lu doing? Like teacher Mei Ye hasn't eaten every kind of cake. All right. The butler glanced at the television screen, where he saw a group of stars he didn't recognize in a car, apparently heading for a trip to Xiancheng. He withdrew his gaze. You should call me when you've decided on a good time. He picked up his walking stick and turned to leave, with Zioji following him. In the moment he left, the television displayed a group of people exiting a vehicle. A middle-aged woman had an upright back, exuding authority, "Hello, I'm Sun Dan. Who is this random person trying to get some screen time? She doesn't even know Yan Lu." In Baikang. In Lu Yang's studio, his agent breathed a sigh of relief. "As you can see, the result is truly mediocre." He turned to Lu Yang. Lu Yang was reading a script with his head down and glanced at the computer screen without saying anything. The agent chuckled and relaxed his back. His greatest fear was that this variety show would also blow up, but it seemed that there was little chance of that happening. Until, looking back at the TV again, just a minute later, the direction of the live comments shifted. "Wait, Sundan. Oh my God, Kyan-do came back. It's really her. What's the meaning of this?" The agent frowned, quickly took out his phone, opened Kyan-do, and searched for Sundan. The first page that popped up was all about her. The ID photo matched the person on the TV screen exactly. The agent, reading the introduction below, was completely stunned. Dan, formerly the deputy director of Jiangjing Cultural and Tourism Bureau. Now the Xiangcheng Cultural and Tourism Bureau chief. Being the Xiangcheng Cultural and Tourism Bureau chief was one thing, but the line above was unsettling. What average person could climb to a high position in Jiangjing? Why would this person be in Xiangcheng and even appear on Come Here Friend? That was until her family relations were introduced. Her grandparents' names could be found in recent history, and then there was her husband, a name almost everyone in the entertainment industry had heard of, Zhang Weizhai. Lu Yang's agent, looking at the profile on Kayank, seemed to understand why Come Here Friend was broadcast on the satellite channel. He subconsciously looked towards Lu Yang. Next to him, Lu Yang was looking down at his phone, probably having received a message about Sun Dan. Even as an agent, he found himself speechless and unable to offer comfort to Lu Yang. "We shouldn't have refused Yan Lu, otherwise we might have added Madam Sun on WeChat." If Dean Jian seemed like the moon out of reach, someone they would never cross paths with in their lifetimes, then Sun Dan and Zhang Weizhai were the flowers of earthly riches. Not to mention Yan Lu herself, with the show, Come Here Friend, cuddling up to the powerful leg of Jiangjing TV station, was the wealth that awaited in the future even in question. Lu Yang's lips pressed together, his facial lines extremely stiff, his heart filled with regret and frustration to the point of nearly suffocating. "Brother Li is still okay," a nearby assistant murmured. "The one who should regret the most must be In-chi." Everyone in the circle knew that In-chi had bundled up with Yan Lu for their debut. After becoming popular, he immediately brushed Yan Lu aside along with their CP and started public relations with Man Zai. Moreover, he had PR smear Yan Lu for constantly leeching In-chi's popularity. At the time, he had cut ties with Yan Lu so cleanly and decisively, probably never considering the possibility of her making a comeback. But who knew? Yan Lu really did make a comeback. Even before Great Yang was broadcast, her popularity had already caught up with the top tier. When Come Here Friend was aired, her popularity soared even higher. Purist Street, Jai Heng's home. Director Chen was casually watching television. On the screen, Mei Yi and Yan Lu were already walking along the two internet celebrity streets of Xiangcheng, with many tourists waving at the camera upon seeing the filming, and the crew didn't avoid any of them. After checking in at the puppet shop, Mei Yi and Yan Lu went to the martial arts school across the street. As soon as the door opened, they saw a group of bare-chested people practicing various weapons on the left, and the camera gave a close-up to a man wielding a long spear, his arms tanned and muscled, with sweat dripping down along the lines of his muscles. "Family, got an urgent matter and I'm heading to Xiangcheng," sprinted. To the right, on several rows of wooden stakes, only one strong and stern man was hopping lightly across the stakes on the right. "Holy crap, is that Lightbody Kinggong? Have I just not been online for a few months? Has Xiangcheng secretly been cultivating immortality behind our backs? Seems like we can no longer hide our magic from foreigners," lighting a cigarette. Director Chen, eating peanuts and with his legs propped up, watched and commented, "Mr. Ming doesn't fit in at all." As he spoke, on TV Mei Yi handed a long spear to Yan Lu. "Wanna try the spear you usually use?" Yan Lu took the long spear. Director Chen was startled. He put down his peanuts, sat up straight, and clapped his hands without blinking an eye at the screen. "She knows how to use a long spear, too." On the screen, Yan Lu was dressed in a loose, casual outfit. Her smoky blue short hair lightly swayed with the wind, and she held the spear in her right hand and pressed the butt with her other hand. Using her waist strength, the spear then thrust forward like a swimming dragon, swiftly stabbing behind her. The camera perfectly captured her poised stance, casual yet effortless. The people practicing long spears next to her were genuinely impressed. "I haven't learned it well," Yan Lu smiled. "I didn't manage to bring out even 1/10 of the might of this move." Viewers began screaming frantically in the bullet comments. "Is this a backthrust spear technique? I've never been so excited for Great Yang. Not like this, you're calling this not learning well." Yan Lu isn't being modest. Look at her smile. She's definitely thinking of someone who plays it better than her. So who is that person? Not just the online commenters, even Director Chen took a deep breath. He stared at the screen, then remembered and took out his cell phone to send a WeChat message to the elder. "She's even more proficient than Yu Hongyi," Director Chen said excitedly as he looked at Jiang Fulai and Bai Lion. "And she even says she hasn't learned well." Jiang Fulai was sitting loosely in his chair, appearing uninterested in the TV, only glancing at Yan Lu's spear. Average. Lion collected her gaze leisurely, offering no particular comment. She just lowered her head to look at the message on her phone. It was from Mao Kun, "Sis, for the 4/18 auction, my godfather has reserved an invitation for you." Every time there was a major auction at the White Tiger Auction House, Mao Kun's side would provide Bai Lion with a VIP card. Most of the time, Bai Lion would sell it for a high price. Any auction that Mao Kun personally reported to Bai Lion was very important. Bai Lion received. Beside her, Director Chen silently withdrew his gaze. After a series of commercials, the variety show resumed, and evening approached. On Purist Street, that little path, Yan Lu and Mei, you were going to watch some fighting. I can't find any information about fighting venues in Xiancheng online. Who's the miss speaking next to Yan Lu? Her voice is so nice. Why didn't she show her face? Her voice is soft. She is not wearing a mic. Is she a friend of Yan Lu? The barrage decreased significantly until the crew arrived at Bachter Street. Many shots were not permitted to appear, leaving only a small portion of footage. Everyone saw the words Bachter Street under the night sky and the Qinglong bar glowing with a dim light. Xiao's half-red hair made an appearance, as did a group of tough-looking men and women of various skin colors on the street. Barrage, why are they blurring out the legs? Why do most people only appear from the waist up? This person glanced at the camera. Why do I feel like he wants to cuss me out? The audience also realized something was amiss and began to question soulfully. Hey, where exactly is this? The show continued to air, and Come Here Friend quickly snapped up several trending searches in advance. Jiangjing TV station, sudden urgent trip to Xiancheng, where is Bachter Street? The first episode of the program ended just as they reached the fighting venue. There had yet to be a breakout variety show since the beginning of the year. Come Here Friend was the first to rank in several hot searches right after its debut, skyrocketing viewers' curiosity to an all-time high. Once an issue becomes hot, countless fearless people will delve into it. News about Bachter Street had already begun to disseminate in secret. After the variety show ended, Jiang Fulai took Jianghe back home. Jianghe's cabbage backpack was still aside, and Bai Lion picked it up to hand it to Jiang Fulai. Jiang Fulai hooked it with a finger, looking disgusted, but didn't throw it away. He looked at Bai Lion and paused slightly. "I'm going back to Jiangjing tomorrow." "Tomorrow?" "Yes." Jiang Fulai withdrew his gaze, his long bangs drooping down. Bai Lion nodded in acknowledgement without saying much. "Is Jianghe going back with you?" Jianghe kept his head down and remained silent. Director Chen hovered awkwardly to the side, and only after Bai Lion had finished speaking to Jiang Fulai, he approached. "Miss Bai, do you have Yan Lu's WeChat?" He knew Yan Lu, but he had just learned that Yan Lu was skilled with a spear. "Yan Lu," Bai Lion glanced at him. "I'll ask around." She looked down, pulled out her phone, found Yan Lu's profile picture, and explained the situation. Yan Lu remembered Director Chen, and without asking for the reason after Bai Lion had finished talking, she directly asked Bai Lion to recommend Director Chen's WeChat to her. Bai Lion flipped to Director Chen's WeChat and passed it to Yan Lu. Director Chen left first with Jiang He, while Jai Heng took out a tobacco pipe to see the two off. Bai Lion still had that document in her hands, unread. Jiang Fulai remained in the courtyard without leaving, only glancing at the thesis in her hand. He Wen is just being lazy, asking you to sort out his thesis for him. He can't get through it. Bai Lion leisurely made an excuse for He Wen. Bai Lion knew this was not a good time to speak up for He Wen. She took a few steps and stopped under a banyan tree, a large lamp overhead. Bai Lion slightly tilted her head, revealing a pair of beautiful almond eyes, deep and dark. These eyes always held a lazy indifference as if nothing mattered to her. Before she could speak, Jiang Fulai bent down, his arms casually extended, and his palms gently rested on her lower back. The shade of the banyan tree cast shadows over his face, and he tilted his head down, his hair brushing past her ear as he spoke in a lazy tone. "I'll be back on Sunday." The popularity of Come Here Friend was still soaring, creating a new high for Xian Cheng's tourism industry, especially concerning the news of Bachter Street. Right after the program ended, the director of Come Here Friend watched the trending searches on Weibo with a smile. It didn't cost them a penny. "I said choosing Yan Lu was the right choice," he told the planner. "You see..." Before he could finish his sentence, his phone rang. He took it out to see the number was from Jiangjing and answered with puzzlement. "Hello, good day." "Hello, I'm Zhang Weizhai." A deep voice came from the other end of the phone. "Zhang Weizhai?" The director jumped up in shock, standing straight up. Their program had been approved by Jiangjing TV station, but the person who contacted them was Zhang Weizhai's secretary. As for Zhang Weizhai himself, the head of the national station, was he someone the common folk could contact? "Here's the thing," Zhang Weizhai sounded casual. "I heard your crew was filming in Bachter Street. You must be quite familiar with the people of Bachter Street, right?" Anyone who could film in Bachter Street had to have non-trivial backing. Zhang Weizhai was forthright. "I want to ask, could you get an invitation to the 4/18 White Tiger auction house? If you can get one for me, I will surely show my gratitude." The director hung up, stunned. White Tiger auction house, the program hadn't even got to that part yet, but he had seen it. Why was Zhang Weizhai asking him about the auction house invitations? While he was pondering, his phone rang again. This time it was from his biggest investor, who sounded very kind. The calls were all because of Bachter Street being shown that evening. In that brief moment, the director received calls from countless bigwigs in the industry. Finally sensing something was off, the director came to a delayed realization. Hold on, exactly who is Yan Lu's friend? Second update? The other members of the show crew looked at each other in bewilderment. The director's heart pounded as he lowered his head to answer Yan Lu's call. The tickets were from Bai Lion. The person was arranged by Bai Lion. The director knew the key to the entire matter lay with Bai Lion. Yan Lu's call connected quickly, and she was somewhat surprised. "Director?" "Here's the thing, Yan Lu." Since it was Zhang Weizhai's call, the director didn't dare to conceal. "President Zhang just called." He concisely recounted the whole event. Yan Lu hung up the phone and pondered for a moment. President Zhang and Sun Dan were family. Sun Dan was introduced to her by Jiang Fulai. She hadn't mentioned it to Bai Lion, but instead sent this piece of news to Jiang Fulai. It was Monday afternoon after school. Bai Lion idly followed a crowd out with earphones in her ears, carrying a black backpack in her hand. She was listening to English. Her phone rang a few times. It was from Jiang Fulai and Jiang He. "Jiang teacher, image," Jiang teacher, landed Jiang Zionao. Jiang Zionao. Jiang Zionao. Not knowing what had happened on the plane, as soon as Jiang He landed, he started to flood Bai Lion's screen with messages. Bai Lion couldn't help but laugh upon seeing the consecutive messages from the two of them. She leisurely replied to Jiang He with a period, and then opened the photo sent by Jiang Fulai. It was raining in Jiangjing. Rain was rare in Xiancheng. Bai Lion snapped a photo of the clear sky to send to him. The school gate was not too crowded at the moment. Su Nanjing was sitting on the curb, talking on the phone with Zio Bingwen. Su Nanjing had heard the name Yan Lu more than once, and at this moment he was quite surprised after Zio Bingwen explained. The one we saw at the fight club, that was her, Zio Bingwen said calmly. Backed her street, daring to film with a camera. Do you believe she has no backing? Su Nanjing saw Bai Lion. He stood up and waved her over. However, I heard Yan Lu is in seclusion. No one can reach her. Zio Bingwen spoke. I'm waiting for Leng Xiu. His teacher can definitely contact Yan Lu. Leng Xiu's teacher was Director Jing, and Director Jing was Yan Lu's composer. Su Nanjing uttered a and questioned about something else. Did you find the person you mentioned? It's not that easy to find, Zio Bingwen sighed. That person is even more mysterious than He Wen. Even Jiang University officials can't find any hidden news, while we at least know who He Wen is and his appearance. So the new talent meetup is definitely not happening. Su Nanjing also felt astonished. Jiang Ji didn't go last time either. You can't compare it to that. Zio Bingwen laughed and then said seriously, after I meet with Xiu, I'll head to Xiangcheng. Before, Director Chen and his team had received an auction invitation. Sure, I'll hang around Backter Street these days to dig up some news, Su Nanjing said languidly. As Bai Lion approached, Su Nanjing ended the call and carelessly stuffed his phone into his pocket, giving Bai Lion a hooked lip smile. I'll take you home. Ever since the motorcycle incident, Su Nanjing had been extraordinarily attentive to Bai Lion. Bai Lion was not one to be cajoled. Thank you. No need to thank me for this, Su Nanjing smiled with raised eyebrows. With Jiang Fulai returning to Jiangjing, he ought to fulfill his role as the guardian. Bai Lion took her seat in the back. Su Nanjing started the car, turned on the music, and leisurely drove onto the road. Just as the music began, it suddenly switched to English reading. Su Nanjing was startled by the sudden appearance of complex English, and in the back seat, Bai Lion lowered the car window and rested her elbow on it, lazily tapping on the window as the sound of reading echoed inside the car, also causing her to pause. The car Su Nanjing was driving was often used by Jiang Fulai. As soon as the car started, the Bluetooth automatically disconnected from the earphones and connected to the car audio. Bai Lion slid down, turned off the Bluetooth. Sorry. It's okay, keep it on, otherwise I might lose my driving privileges when Jiang Ji comes back. Su Nanjing looked into the rear-view mirror and held back his laughter after realizing it. But he wasn't joking. Bai Lion silently lowered her head. Su Nanjing rounded a corner and laughed again. Bai Lion, have you considered my earlier proposal? The matter of acknowledging a godmother. Bai Lion still didn't respond. Su Nanjing went on, then, how about adding my mom on WeChat? She's wanted to see you for a long time. He was settling for the next best option. Adding WeChat wasn't a big deal. This time, Bai Lion didn't refuse. She leaned against the car door, the wind tousling the hair on her forehead. Just as she was about to speak with Su Nanjing, her phone rang. It was Director Jing. What have you been up to recently? On the other end of the phone, Director Jing raised his hand to silence the music in the classroom, his voice quite exasperated. Second update, a bunch of people were trying to get information from him in a roundabout way. That included Old Master Chen. Dean Jian had never realized how much in demand he was until he asked Yan Lu and found out that Bai Lion was the source. In the classroom, when the others heard Dean Jian's voice, they looked at each other, puzzled. Dean Jian was usually very stern, and even when dealing with his 3 apprentices, he was quite harsh. His teaching videos were said to be the work of a crazed demon. Besides the rumor that he had taken the initiative to greet a senior high school student, this was the first time they had heard him speak in such a gentle tone. The man exchanged glances with the woman beside him, hiding their astonishment. Bai Lion raised her eyebrows. She put her bag aside and said languidly, "No, get over it." Dean Jian was somewhat speechless, but this was Bai Lion. "Okay, I'll get over it. So, where's your new composition? I've been waiting for over a month. It's coming soon." Bai Lion fobbed him off with the same 2 words. "Can't you show some respect for your talent?" Dean Jian was exasperated. Bai Lion had this natural talent, and she wasn't using it. He felt sorry for her. Bai Lion realized the questioning was a pretext. Pressuring her to turn in her composition was the real motive. She brushed him off with a couple of casual remarks and hung up the phone. Dean Jian looked down at his phone. "Forget it. He looked at the 5 or 6 people in the classroom, his expression returning to its usual seriousness. That's all for today's lesson. He took his phone and left. In the classroom, the woman wearing a camel-colored knit stood up. She picked up her scarf. Senior brother, who do you think? Our teacher was just talking to on the phone. With that attitude, the man picked up his gazhang, his eyes deep. The new composition. Must be that composer he's working with, I suppose. Ling Xiu took a deep breath. I think so, too. On Bai Lion's end, she had just hung up the phone. The light was red, so Su Nanjing glanced in the rearview mirror and casually asked, "Who was that?" The tone didn't sound like it was Jiang Fulai or a classmate. An old friend. That's how Bai Lion described Dean Jian. You seem to have a really good relationship with your old friend. Su Nanjing tapped his fingers on the steering wheel. He was just bored waiting for the light and tossed out a couple of questions. The light turned green, and he drove off. Soon, they arrived at Purist Street. Bai Lion thanked him and got out of the car. Looking through the car window, Su Nanjing saw a bleached blonde guy crouching at the corner of the street. As soon as the blonde guy saw Bai Lion, he stood up quickly, handed her something, and because Bai Lion turned slightly to the side, blocking part of the view, Su Nanjing couldn't see clearly. He just took out his phone to report to Jiang Fulai, "There's some freak talking to alien." He described the blonde guy quite roughly. Then he found Bai Lion's WeChat, opened her contact information, and recommended her to Gao Yan. Gao Yan saw the message and raised her eyebrows. Who is this? No wonder Gao Yan asked. Bai Lion's ancient city tower profile picture really made her look like an elderly person. Su Nanjing replied at his leisure. It's Bai Lion. Gao Yan couldn't be bothered to reply to Su Nanjing and tapped directly on Bai Lion's contact card to add her as a friend, including a message, "Hello, I'm Su Nanjing's mother." Friday was Tomb Sweeping Day. A 3-day holiday was coming up. On Thursday night, Ren Wangshuan received a call from Jai Sheorong, "Dad." "Wangshuan," Jai Sheorong sounded very tired. "I've been busy recently and haven't had the time. Your uncle isn't around either. Tomorrow is Tomb Sweeping Day. Could you go and pay respects to Grandpa with me in my place?" Ren Wangshuan was still doing her homework. She didn't want to waste any time. "Dad, I still need to visit Grandpa." "Wangshuan," Jai Sheorong's voice was rare in its sternness. Ren Wangshuan merely uttered an "oh." The next day, early in the morning, Ren Wangshuan got up, her expression not very good. At the dining table, Ren Kaiyan glanced at her. "If your dad asks you to go, just go and see." In past Kingaming festivals, Ren Wangshuan had never gone back once, and Ren Kaiyan would not let her go back, but today Ren Kaiyan seemed to be softening. After all, the Ren family was no longer as grand as it had been, and there was. The Su family was there too. Ren Kaiyan didn't want that relationship to fade. Reluctantly, Ren Wangshuan changed her clothes and went to the Jai family's home. Upon reaching Purist Street, she got out of the car with disdain, but her gaze caught sight of a black business car on the other side. If it was any other day, Ren Wangshuan would definitely ponder why such a vehicle would appear here, but today she wasn't in the mood to pay attention. Walking on the cobblestones of Purist Street, she reached Jai Heng's home, complaining about why the Su family hadn't moved Jai Heng to a different place. When she knocked on the door, Ren Wangshuan moderated the disdain on her face as Jai Heng opened the door from inside. "Grandpa," Ren Wangshuan walked in casually, her eyes scanning the courtyard's stone table and chairs, but she didn't sit down. Instead, she said to Jai Heng, "My dad told me to join you all for the memorial ceremony." She behaved very politely. Jai Heng was dressed in a black outfit today, holding a tobacco pipe in his hand. He stepped to the side, looking at Ren Wangshuan, who was wearing a pink foundation garment dress. The cut was delicate, and she had 2 red ladybug hairpins on her head, a particularly meticulous miss dressed in splendid and beautiful clothing. Meanwhile, Bai Lion came out holding a zither. Bai Lion was dressed in a linen-colored buttoned-up shirt with black ice silk trousers below, her hair still simply up with a wood-colored hairpin in her usual plain style. When Bai Lion saw Ren Wangshuan, she did not speak. Jai Heng had mentioned the night before that Kingaming festival required attending a memorial service. Having been in this world for so long, Bai Lion had only ever seen Bai Kaiming's ancestral temple. She had never seen her grandmother's spirit tablet, and nobody in the Jai family mentioned it, except for the elusive Jai Sheorong, and her grandmother whom she had never heard of. As for Jai Heng, there were so many valuable fabrics at home that Bai Lion could recognize. She wouldn't ask if Jai Heng didn't mention them, just like Jai Heng wouldn't pry into Bai Lion's affairs. The grandparent and grandchild knew each other had secrets, and they kept an unspoken understanding. Bai Lion wasn't curious about what Jai Sheorong was doing. She was just curious about the grandmother whom she had never seen or heard of. Was she finally going to see her today? Jai Heng looked back at Ren Wongshuan. He struck an old-fashioned match and lit his pipe. The place for the ceremony is quite far, and there's a long mountain road. Can you manage? Hearing that it was far and involved a mountain road, Ren Wongshuan's expression changed. But she remained silent, her hands grasping the hem of her dress. You should go back, Jai Heng said. His voice was muffled as he looked down with turbid eyes. Alien has a good constitution for climbing mountains. Your health isn't as good as hers. His implication was that she could skip the visit. Ren Wongshuan felt secretly delighted, but her expression showed hesitation. Is that okay? But my dad said. I'll talk to your dad. Jai Heng exhaled a ring of smoke, murmuring softly, Don't worry, it's fine. Okay. Ren Wongshuan took out her phone, stifling her eagerness. Then, Grandpa. Shall I head back first? Be careful on your way. Jai Heng waited for her to leave the yard, then raised his head and spoke to Bai Lion in a deep voice. Get ready, we'll leave shortly. He turned and went back into the room to fetch the items for the ceremony. Okay, Bai Lion nodded, watching Jai Heng's retreating figure thoughtfully. At the purest street intersection, Mingding Heng saw Jai Heng and Bai Lion carrying chrysanthemums and a variety of items, and promptly got out of the driver's seat, the back door of the car opening automatically. Miss Bai, Elder Jai. He did not say what he was there for, but his meaning was clear. Jai Heng glanced at him, pondered for nearly a minute, and ultimately did not refuse. Thank you. He and Bai Lion got into the business car. Jai Heng gave an address in a low voice. Mingding Heng turned on his phone to input the address, and upon seeing the destination, he froze. Jai Heng's destination was Nanling Mountain. Nanling Mountain wasn't a public cemetery, but an upcoming tourist attraction under development below Xiancheng, with several renowned people's graves nearby. Located at the southernmost point of Xiancheng, the mountain range stretched on endlessly. The roads were tricky, with half of them under expansion to prepare for the tourist route, and Nanling Park was still pending opening. Mingding Heng drove slowly to the edge of Nanling Mountain, where Jai Heng asked him to stop at a spot. Bai Lion, carrying items for the memorial service, followed Jai Heng as he got out of the car. The attraction wasn't open until summer vacation, but at the entrance they could already see signs with 4 routes directing to Nanling Park, Nanling Mountain, Gyushan Tomb, and Hongai Hotel. The signpost was very new. It must have been installed not long ago. Mingding Heng, sitting in the driver's seat, looked up at Bai Lion following Jai Heng along one of the paths and couldn't help but pick up his phone. Mingding Heng, it's Kingaming Festival today. Miss Bai, what are you doing at the tourist attraction? Mingding Heng, are you paying respects at Gyushan Tomb or the General's Tomb? Su Nanjing, don't forget to come pay respects later. Su Nanjing was at Martyr's Mausoleum, Nanling Mountain. Jai Heng hadn't taken Bai Lion to the tourist attraction but led her deeper into isolation along the mountain paths. The route was challenging, but Bai Lion tread easily, and Jai Heng's breathing remained steady. They walked for about 15 minutes. Finally, Bai Lion saw 3 tombstones. Jai Heng stopped in front of the last one, which was the only one with an actual grave. The other 2 were cenotaphs. The tombs looked well-tended and clean, without a single weed, suggesting someone had been regularly maintaining them. I brought Alien to see you. Jai Heng squatted down, brushing off the barely visible dust on the tombstone. You probably haven't seen her. As he spoke, he looked towards Bai Lion with an unfamiliar gentleness in his deeply furrowed eyes. Come, let her see you. Bai Lion stepped forward, reading the inscription on the tombstone, the tomb of Jai Wongsun Wongsun, Jai Wongsun. Was this her grandmother? Bai Lion placed down the chrysanthemums in her hand, bowing respectfully. Such a tender name. Kneeling before the grave, he burned an embroidered handkerchief with lilacs on it, waiting until it was entirely consumed by flames. Then he took out from the basket some alcoholic drinks and 3 cups, placing them neatly in front of the 2 other tombstones, pouring the liquor to the brim, and poured a cup for himself as well. "You can call them Grandpa," he quietly said to Bai Lion, sitting casually to one side, drinking with the 2 tombstones. 20 minutes later, Jai Heng left behind the liquor pot and cups and got up. "Let's go, don't keep Xiaming waiting." Bai Lion followed him down the mountain but looked back while descending the steps. Mist lingered among the mountains, with the wind gently brushing through the trees and sunlight casting the tombstones and leaves in a golden hue. Seeing her repeatedly look back, Jai Heng raised an eyebrow. "Have you seen your grandmother's photo before?" Bai Lion shook her head. "Figures." Jai Heng might have had a bit to drink, his thoughts somewhat unclear. He became more talkative with Bai Lion. "I'll look for one and show you when we get back. I have quite a few." On the way, it turned out Ming Dingheng was heading to Martyr's Mausoleum. Jai Heng sat upright, asking Ming Dingheng to take them along. The Martyr's Mausoleum was on the way and a bit secluded, but there were many people at the entrance today, with the towering monument of the martyrs visible from afar. Several young people were handing out chrysanthemums for free at the entrance to the mausoleum. Standing beneath the giant martyrs monument at the entrance, Bai Lion heard a familiar cough. She instinctively looked up and, as expected, saw Ning Xiao supporting Granny Wang in front of her. Granny Wang was still wearing the same oversized camouflage uniform, which didn't match her build, and she seemed somewhat better today, with Ning Xiao silently assisting her. Neither of them noticed her. Bai Lion didn't call out to them. Instead, she remembered the 3 obituary photos she saw on her first visit to Granny Wang's home. Ahead, Granny Wang paused for a moment. She put her hand to her mouth, coughing twice. Then, looking at a group of people gathered in the second row, she thought for a bit. "Let's visit your brother and his father first, there at the back. There are too many people at your grandfather's. We'll skip him for now." Strictly speaking, Ning Xiao wasn't Granny Wang's biological grandson, but Ning Yuryuo's half-brother through their mother, who, upon discovering his defects, he neither cried nor laughed, sent him to Xiancheng to be with Granny Wang. Today, with many people coming to pay respects, the 2 stopped in front of a tombstone. Ning Xiao squatted down, looking at the photo of Ning Yuryuo with a radiant smile, and placed the large bouquet of sunflowers on top of it. He resembled his brother in looks, though their personalities were worlds apart. Granny Wang always worried about him. Most offerings were chrysanthemums, what they prepared for the other ancestors in the mausoleum. Ning Yuryuo is like a sunflower. Ning Xiao reached out to touch the jade gourd on his neck. Afternoon. Bai Lion sat at her desk, the sun slanting in through the window. To the right were stacks of books, and under a nearby inkstone, a piece of white paper lay pinned down, inscribed with several lines of shorthand musical notation. The room's door was open, and Jai Heng entered from the courtyard holding a dark, old wooden box in his hands. The box was locked with a small padlock. "Take a look inside," said Jai Heng, seeing that she wasn't doing homework, and he placed the box in front of her and handed Bai Lion the small key. "These are photos of your grandmother." Bai Lion reached out for the key and bent her head to insert it into the lock. Jai Heng stood by and watched as she opened the small wooden box. What met her eyes first was an old black-and-white photo of a woman in a traditional cheongsam, dignified and elegant, her features exuding an extraordinary Eastern charm. Besides that one, there were many more. Almost every single one featured a cheongsam, and a few thin sheets appeared to have been cut from books, newspapers, or magazines. They had been well preserved. Jai Heng, who smelled slightly of smoke, let his gaze fall on the photos, his turbid eyes revealing hardly any emotion. Bai Lion gently flipped through the pile of old pictures, delicately holding the edges of those cut from newspapers, exceedingly cautious in her movements. When the old photos had all been looked through, beneath them in the box, Bai Lion saw 2 small medals. The medals seemed quite old, with a letter inscribed in the middle and 2 small leaves on either side. She had never seen such medals before. Just take a look by yourself. Don't take them out, Jai Heng remarked casually as he saw her handling the medals. Then he withdrew his gaze, looking through Bai Lion's window at the embroidery stand in the courtyard, and suddenly said, I didn't expect your uncle and your mother, with so many people in the family, to be uninterested in academia. Instead, it's you. Do you want to go back to the Mew family? The Mew family? Bai Lion lifted her head, hearing this name for the first time, the Mew family. My biological parents' house, though I didn't grow up in the Mew family, explained Jai Heng nonchalantly. The Mew family. They're researchers, quite formidable in the past, but their situation isn't too good now. Jai Heng frowned and paused. The Mew family was indeed on a declining path, even though a skinny camel was still bigger than a horse. Oh, Bai Lion replied, carefully placing the medals and photos back into the box. No need. She intended to apply for the laboratory at the Ma Institute. Jai Heng gave Bai Lion a look, not pressing the issue further. If you change your mind later, let me know. 5 in the afternoon. Bai Lion packed up her books and picked up her phone to leave. Today, she was going to Jiang Fulai's to print out new materials. Jiang Fulai hadn't returned yet, and the courtyard was bustling. When Bai Lion arrived, Su Nanjing was sitting in the pavilion talking to Xiao Bingwen. You're saying there's no news of her? Xiu is still in communication, Xiao Bingwen replied, putting down his teacup and shaking his head. You know what kind of place the White Tiger auction house is. Didn't Chief Chen say they had to buy their invitation off the black market initially? Indeed, Bacter Street with its foreign powers made even the Su family cautious with exerting their influence. Su Nanjing was contemplating this when he saw Bai Lion enter. He stopped his conversation and waved at Bai Lion. Sister Bai Lion. Beside Su Nanjing, Xiao Bingwen quickly stood up, slightly awkward. Miss Bai. Bai Lion lazily lifted her hand in greeting, not approaching to disturb their conversation. Instead, she went straight inside to print her documents upstairs. Ming Ding Heng, practicing his boxing on the empty lot, stopped when he saw Bai Lion and walked over. Miss Bai, why didn't you call me when you arrived? He was a bit chagrined. I know the way, Bai Lion replied, her voice lackadaisical as she scanned through the files Professor Ma had sent on her phone. Seeing Bai Lion heading upstairs, Ming Ding Heng didn't follow. He brewed a pot of tea for Bai Lion and placed it on the table in the pavilion, then sat on a nearby stool and turned on his phone. As soon as he opened a video, a notification popped up. A blogger was dramatically narrating. A certain martial arts school in Xiangcheng has been hot lately. Today we're going to scrutinize the components of this school. Let's start with the hall master of the school, who is a 5th Dan in martial arts. Yes, despite being a hall master, he only holds a 5th Dan. Since Pu Ziohen's time, Xingyi Martial Arts School had seen a surge of enrollment, and with the rise of short video traffic, the school also had an official account, attracting many followers through Pu Ziohen's videos. A week after, Come Here Friend was broadcasted, Xingyi Martial Arts School's popularity had skyrocketed. Rank 3, every advantage has its disadvantage, and with it come problems. Netizens began to doubt the authority of the Xingyi Martial Arts School. Ming Ding Heng watched the video and frowned. Why do you keep repeating this video? Su Nanjing looked over at Ming Ding Heng. I've invested in this martial arts school. Ming Ding Heng was typing out comments seriously, explaining that the hall master of the Xingyi Martial Arts School was a senior teacher, just that he hadn't taken any ranking exams before. No sooner had he posted it than a bunch of trolls started flaming him. Su Nanjing, with his legs crossed in a lordly manner, had listened several times. To him, this type of business battle was nothing special. It's simple. Just find a master and put them in the position of teacher at your school. Next to him, Xiao Bingwen also explained. Mr. Ming, you should ask Miss Baixuan, doesn't the Chen family have someone from Dongwu? Their martial arts should be very good, or you can invite your teacher to come out. Ming Ding Heng gave him a glance and kept silent. Their suggestions were really too simplistic. Xiao Bingwen was referring to Yu Hongyi. Ming Ding Heng furrowed his brow, not planning to ask her. As for his teacher, Ming Ding Heng was even more helpless. His teacher wasn't paying him any attention at all now. Ming Ding Heng looked ahead. After a while, Bai Lion came downstairs. Jiang Fulai was not there today, and Jiang He hadn't returned either, so Bai Lion didn't plan to stay any longer. "Sister Bai Lion," Su Nanjing pointed at the teapot on the table with a smile. "Xiaming especially brewed this tea for you. Won't you have a cup first?" Bai Lion halted in her steps, clad in a linen-colored top and black trousers. The sun was about to set, casting golden rays of light on the tips of her hair and her clothes. She looked towards the gazebo, pondering for a moment before walking this way. Ming Dingheng hurriedly poured her a cup of tea. Bai Lion sat beside him with a stack of papers in her hand, newly printed literature that was still warm. Her wrist casually rested on the table as she took the tea Ming Dingheng handed to her with her other hand. Xiao Bingwen looked at the thick stack of papers curled in Bai Lion's hand. He didn't make out what it was, only glimpsing lines and numbers through the sheets. "What is this?" He remembered Bai Lion hadn't been carrying anything when she arrived. "Printed materials," Bai Lion replied languidly. "You came all this way just to print materials." Su Nanjing was sitting on the other side, looking at the papers in Bai Lion's hand. Bai Lion sipped her tea and casually said, "Yes, it's safer here." "What part of Xiangcheng isn't safe?" Su Nanjing laughed, while Xiao Bingwen also seemed to be taken aback into silence. Bai Lion gave a languid smile. The literature she was looking at had been sent to her by a member of the Ma Institute, containing lots of experimental data, some of which were classified. The scholar trusted her greatly, hence she usually printed them at Jiang Fulai's place. Printing shops outside required file copying onto their computers, which wasn't secure. Once Bai Lion finished her tea, she picked up the literature and stood up to bid them farewell. Ming Dingheng stood up before Su Nanjing, his key already in hand. "Miss Bai, let me drive you home." "Never mind." Bai Lion was about to decline when she saw Ming Dingheng hesitate. She thought for a moment and then said, "You can take me to the bus station." Behind them, Su Nanjing was somewhat speechless at Xiaming's quick action. In the car, as the bus station drew closer, Ming Dingheng had a stern face and seemed hesitant to speak. In the back seat, Bai Lion was flipping through the literature, not even lifting her head. "Speak." Ming Dingheng slowed down and stopped the car. This time he didn't hesitate and just asked directly, "Miss Bai, what rank are you in martial arts?" Lion usually appeared lazy and indifferent. Sometimes Ming Dingheng felt she gave him even more pressure than his own teacher did. Not to mention those few moves she executed while standing in stance. Despite practicing for a long time, Ming Dingheng still hadn't achieved half of her proficiency. His teacher was an 8th Dan, and Bai Lion, in Ming Dingheng's opinion, should also be at least 8th Dan. Perhaps her young age meant she had the ability but not the seniority, so at least she should be 7th Dan. As the car stopped, Bai Lion looked towards the nearby bus stop, unhurried. "Theoretically, I have 8 or 9 Dan." "Theoretically?" Ming Dingheng pressed a button, and the rear door automatically opened. He didn't understand what Bai Lion meant by theoretically. Bai Lion got out of the car, very calmly, "Because I've never taken the test." Ming Dingheng was somewhat frustrated. "Why wouldn't you take the test?" Looking at Chen Jingyu, Yu Hongyi, and the others, every one of them seemed eager to test twice a year. "What's the matter?" Bai Lion stood outside the car window, speaking while also glancing at the mobile phone in her right hand. She was probably memorizing vocabulary. Ming Dingheng's expression was always cold, and he replied without a change in his demeanor, "I just feel it doesn't match your temperament." Bai Lion. By coincidence, the bus also arrived, and Bai Lion boarded. Ming Dingheng left the car where it was, watching the bus drive away before taking out his phone to report to Jiang Fulai about Miss Bai coming to print, and then immediately leaving. After finishing his report and just putting down the phone, it rang. It was Jin Kai, the current hall master of Xingyi Martial Arts School. While starting the car, Ming Dingheng pressed the hands-free button. "Hall Master Jin, do you only have 5th Dan?" Bai Lion was unwilling to take the test. Surely she had her reasons, like studying hard. But Hall Master Jin was from a martial arts family. They had run a martial arts school since he was a child. Why hadn't he taken the tests? After spending so much time together, Ming Dingheng knew Jin Kai's skills far exceeded 5th Dan. "You already know." "Yes, I only have 5th Dan." Jin Kai was startled. and then chuckled bitterly. After the martial arts school closed down, I went to work on construction sites and didn't seriously test for any level. I tested last year, and now I'm still at 5th Dan. His real skills were definitely higher than 5th Dan. But to continue testing for higher levels, he had to wait until his 5th Dan reached the 6-year mark before he could test for the 6th Dan. He had missed over a decade. This wasn't something he could make up for in a short time. Now, with certificates and reputation being significant, even if Jin Kai had the skills of a 6th Dan or 7th Dan, without a certificate, he couldn't convince outsiders. Ming Dingheng drove slowly. Besides you, how are the other masters doing? 2 4th Dan and 1 5th Dan, the rest are all 3rd Dan, Jin Kai answered. They all had sat for the tests only after starting at Xingyi Martial Arts School last year. Before that, as the martial arts school declined, they were busy with their livelihoods and never imagined, under Secretary Zhou's suppression, the martial arts school could reopen, so they didn't continue testing. "Come here, friend," went viral, and netizens scrutinized everything. Xingyi Martial Arts School already had students who came across similar video posts complaining about the school's teachers and hall master as being average with not even a 6th Dan instructor. They even said their spear performance wasn't as good as Yan Lu's. Many net users believed Xingyi Martial Arts School should live up to its name and felt it was even inferior to Jingfeng Taekwondo. Meanwhile, the people from Jingfeng Taekwondo took this opportunity to market their Muay Thai 8th Dan instructor online. Jin Kai regretted for the first time not taking his levels more seriously. "This month is the recruitment season," Jin Kai said gravely. "I'm afraid they might be influenced by online chatter, and just like before, all go to Jingfeng Taekwondo. Miss Bai would be very disappointed, wouldn't she?" "Let's think of another way," Ming Dingheng squinted. "Perhaps the situation isn't as bad as it seems." Sunday evening, 5:30 p.m. At Xiancheng Library, Ning Xiao packed up early, lowering his voice. "I'm heading home first." "Everyone should go," Bai Lion said to the others, methodically sorting files at a leisurely pace. "After dinner, it'll be just in time to watch the 2nd episode." Tonight, the 2nd episode of Come Here Friend would be broadcast. Ning Xiao and Tang Ming walked in front, with Jian Ji trailing a step behind them. Yang Lin had left in the afternoon, while Pu Xiaohen couldn't sit still at noon, claiming she needed to go to Internet Celebrity Street to shoot a video. Bai Lion moved slowly, leisurely trailing behind everyone else. It seemed cold at the library's entrance. The three in front slowed their pace, and Tang Ming, who had been chattering nonstop, suddenly fell silent. Bai Lion, looking at her phone with downcast eyes, sensed something and looked up towards the street. A car was parked at the door. Beside it stood a tall, lean figure with a casual and relaxed posture, eyes lowered, looking at a child squatting by his feet, pinching the corner of a blanket with 2 pale fingers. In one hand he held a phone, only revealing his proud, cold profile. Ning Xiao, Tang Ming, and the others stopped walking. Having not seen him for several days, they seemed even more intimidated by Jiang Fulai, speaking in hushed tones. "Brother Jiang." Jiang Fulai withdrew his cold glance from Jiang He and looked up to nod at Ning Xiao and the others. His gaze fell on the person behind them. Bai Lion stood at their rear, with a black backpack slung over her shoulder, her eyes pitch black, her skin luminescently pale, hair tied up but slightly undone, with wisps being gently blown by the wind onto her brow bone. The setting sun cast its light on her eyes, brows, and the white garment she wore, making her stand out even more. The bus arrived, and Ning Xiao along with Tang Ming and the others departed. Bai Lion sauntered slowly towards Jiang Fulai, crossing into the light and stopping in front of the two, looking down at Jiang He. "What's wrong with him again?" Jiang Fulai put his phone in his pocket, lifted his hand to lightly brush the hair from her brow bone to the side, casually glancing at Jiang He with an indifferent tone. "He left his pillow behind, so he's sulking." Bai Lion nodded, looking at Jiang He. "Your bag. My grandfather has finished making it. Aren't you going to get up?" Finally, Jiang He looked up. He watched Bai Lion expressionlessly and then stood up to grasp the hem of her clothing. In the evening, the 2nd episode of Come Here Friend was broadcast. At Jiang Fulai's residence, he hadn't returned. Su Nanjing looked outside, Didn't young Master Jiang arrive in Xiancheng early? Why hasn't he come back? He knows many people. I don't know if he can get us an invitation. Xiao Bingwen nodded. It's a bit difficult this time. They're auctioning off the last of the encrypted currency. You know how many around the world are waiting for it. Our country isn't at an advantage. The White Tiger auction house was foreign capital, connecting with foreign powers. As he spoke, Xiao Bingwen noticed the time had come. 8 p.m. He placed the computer beside him on the coffee table, opened the webpage, and jumped to the live broadcast of Come Here Friend. The computer emitted the sounds of Yan Lu and Mei Ye. There was also the cheering of the crowd and commentary from the fighting ring. 5 minutes later. Are you watching the TV program Yan Lu's? Su Nanjing recognized the match they had watched back then. He wasn't much interested in variety shows, leaning back lazily with a teacup, giving the computer only a glance, sipping lightly. Why bother watching without seeing her? Before he could finish, a giant logo of White Tiger Auction House appeared on the screen. Then the camera panned up from below to capture the majestic lion. Su Nanjing coughed violently. Cough, cough. Third update, one after the last episode aired. Come Here Friend saw its discussion soar on various platforms. Ordinary people have an innate curiosity, especially about places like Baxter Street, which they had never heard of before. Initially, major media outlets began educating the public about Baxter Street, but later many videos were censored by officials, and netizens only dared to share videos in private. If the authorities hadn't acted, they might not have cared, but once they did, the public's curiosity only intensified. At this moment, the right side of the screen kept flashing, white tank top. Sandai King. White Tank Top's previous battle had gone viral online. He could be ranked within the top 10 UFC fighters, and being the second to emerge in China, he had a big reputation in the world of Sanda. Production team, who exactly are you? How could you even film this? If the production team can interview White Tank Top, I'll be your fan for life. Right after the fight scene aired, the audience was boiling with excitement, and the next second, the scene switched to White Tiger Auction House. The barrage was not as fervent. White Tiger Auction House, where is that? So luxurious. I've also experienced being rich for once. Not many people knew about White Tiger Auction House. When they were filming, White Tiger Auction House wasn't open for business, so the audience just enjoyed something novel. The filming of Baxter Street stopped there, and on Weibo, Sandai King slowly climbed to the top of the trending searches. No, said Su Nanjing, placing his teacup on the table. He stopped coughing and eased the shock in his heart, turning to look at Xiao Bingwen beside him. You! What kind of production team did Yan Lu join? Even the calm Su Nanjing had trembling fingertips at this moment. Although White Tiger Auction House was not open for business, if Su Nanjing stood outside wanting to get in, those bodyguards of White Tiger would throw him out from a distance, let alone allow filming. Didn't you say there was nothing interesting to watch? Xiao Bingwen took a deep breath and looked up. Su Nanjing. Xiao Bingwen slowly withdrew his gaze. He saw the program switch to Yan Lu and Mei Ye buying groceries, anticipating that the Baxter Street segment had come to an end. So he closed his laptop, belatedly explaining, I have nothing to do with Yan Lu. The production team definitely has links to them. Su Nanjing tapped his fingers on the table, put away his astonishment, sat up straight, and had already realized the importance of this matter. Try probing Ling Xiu again. Xiao Bingwen nodded. Su Nanjing looked down again, taking out his phone to send a message, instructing someone to investigate the production team. Get the production team to interview White Tank Top. Su Nanjing put away his phone, and recalling the recent barrage, muttered, They really dare to dream. Even Xiaming can't get a single photo of White Tank Top. The Jai family. Jai Heng hadn't seen Jiang He for several days. At the moment, Jai Heng was hugging him while sitting in a chair watching a variety show, and Jiang He held a package embroidered with a lifelike bok choy. He was watching the television curiously with wide eyes. The several people in the room didn't have much interest in the auction house. They had all been there before. Bai Lion leaned back in her chair lazily, watching casually. On the screen, Yan Lu was telling Mei Ye that a few friends would come over for a meal. The number of synchronous barrage comments had significantly decreased, and some were guessing, are they the students from the preview? Not as exciting as before. Yanlu is really brave. At this point, ordinary people would be inviting a few celebrities, but she actually only invited non-celebrities. Fans of Yanlu, take note. Don't attack Yanlu's non-celebrity friends. Heard there's a lawyer, I'm squatting on this. The production team is so awesome. It must be Zhao Jingzhu. Jiang Fulai took off his jacket, sitting beside her in a loose white t-shirt. Recognizing one of the blurry figures as Bai Lion, he saw that her teacup was empty, took the teapot, slowly poured her more tea, and asked in a low voice, "Why didn't you come out as a composer?" The compositions were average. Bai Lion evaluated her own music, but she looked at Jiang Fulai with surprise. The show wasn't over yet. How could he know she hadn't revealed herself? Jiang Fulai casually refilled his own and Jai Heng's cups with water and, glancing at her, replied. Jiang He, hugging his package and looking down at his little cup. Jai Heng glanced sideways at the aloof expression on Jiang Fulai's face, and the corners of his mouth twitched almost imperceptibly. On the screen, the camera had already turned to a man and a woman discussing a topic. They weren't wearing mics, and their voices weren't very clear, but one could vaguely make out what they were saying. Don't get it. What's the show about? Who does questions on a show? Bai Lion and her classmates, third of 3 updates, 2 yeah. At home, I'm too lazy to even write down equations, but that hand looks like it could play the piano. On the screen, everyone could see a pale hand holding a pen and writing on paper, slender and fair, with smooth knuckles. It looked like a piece of art under the camera. As the comments continued, the camera suddenly provided a high-definition close-up of the mobile phone. Everyone could see the problem displayed on the phone, a small ball in a vacuum, illuminated by a 280-nanometer wavelength ultraviolet light, asking for the maximum kinetic energy of escaping photoelectrons, speed at infinite distance, number of photoelectrons. The production team added an image of a little yellow face kneeling, with the caption, "High school students really don't have it easy these days. I can understand each problem individually, but when they're combined, I'm lost. You better confirm this is a high school problem. The production team, you're really outrageous. I've put up with everything else, but which normal high school student would solve this kind of problem? The character setting is too obvious. At least understand what we regular high school students study." Comments continued to flood in, with several mentioning Jiangjing. Jiang Fulai looked at these comments, his delicate brows betraying some hesitation. Is this problem difficult? It's all right. Bai Lion lazily sipped water. I know the answer, it's just that Ning Xiao didn't have enough time. Jiang Fulai leaned back and commented indifferently. He's always been a bit slow. Next to them, Jai Heng, who understood nothing. He felt like he was one of those netizens commenting. However, it was only for a moment before Kai Yundai's arrival shifted the topic again. The moment Kai Yundai appeared on screen, the production team highlighted his full title, Kai Yundai, a 39-year-old practicing lawyer. Yan Lu respectfully called him Kai Lu. Kai Lu, never heard of him, is this to hype him up? +1, I thought the production team would invite Zhao Jingzhu. You were so good in the first half. Why did the quality drop in the second half? Soon, the scene of Kai Lu cutting potatoes made viewers satisfied. Just admit it, production team. He must be a 5-star chef, right? Haha. Teacher May had me dying of laughter. He actually went back to secretly cut potatoes. Come here, friend made the hot search once again because of the Sanda King. The last episode was a smash hit. This episode's first half was even more explosive than the previous one, especially since White Tank Top was already famous in the fighting ring. Now his popularity soared even higher, to the point where there were inquiries about White Tank Top's social media account. It was only the latter half that dragged on. At least Kai Yundai managed to earn the nickname 5-star chef from netizens. But viewers found the segment with the physics problems critically poor. At Yan Lu's place, as someone who had been consistently disparaged, her sixth sense was sharp. She immediately called Wang Xin. Sister Xin, didn't you watch before airing the episode? Wang Xin had also seen the online sentiment. She rubbed her brow. I did, but we had no idea the problems Miss Bai and the others were working on were so hard. If I'd known, I wouldn't have allowed the director to air them. The director was trying to evoke empathy from senior year students who had left school for so long, thinking that the current senior students must be very strong. Little did he know, it was only Bai Lion and her classmates who were strong. A new entry appeared on the trending search. The hard-studying Miss Bai and classmate Ning's 12th grade problem. The program had edited together some sound bites of Bai Lion and Ning Zio's names, and now these two terms were being mocked coldly and derisively online. Yan Lu furrowed her brows at this entry, then moved to the one below Zingy Martial Arts School Hall Master. Her expression tightened. In the information age, a hot show came with its benefits, but with those benefits came corresponding impacts. Yan Lu, accustomed to being maligned, was indifferent, but she didn't want to see Bai Lion getting dragged down. She hung up on Sister Zin and called the director directly. "Cut that segment out." The director didn't hesitate after hearing Yan Lu's suggestion. "That's a good idea, don't worry. The information age moves quickly and this will blow over. It's just Miss Bai who." The director was somewhat afraid that Bai Lion would be angered. After all, people online were accusing her and Ning Zio of putting on an act. "She doesn't go online," Yan Lu sighed, and she believed that Bai Lion wouldn't be bothered by others' opinions. "That's good." The director was relieved. He lit a cigarette and instructed his team to edit the website's video content, confused and frustrated. But how did Miss Bai and the others end up solving that kind of problem? He was genuinely perplexed. Bai Lion and Ning Zio were students from Xiancheng. How could education resources there have such outlandish problems to excite netizens like this? This stumped Yan Lu. Yan Lu was not academically inclined and simply answered, "She does whatever problems she wants to." Indeed. On the other end of the phone, the director shrugged. After all, Miss Bai was so cool that the industry big shots had already called him. What was the big deal about her doing a problem? The director hung up the phone. Beside him, the assistant director stood up from his chair. "They're editing it now, hopefully. The audiences will quickly forget about Miss Bai and Ning Zio." The director nodded, still holding his cigarette, his brow unrelenting. "How's Lawyer Kai doing right now?" "As you know, our show is on fire right now," the assistant director said, resigned. When they recorded the show, they never imagined it would become this popular. They just wanted to give Lawyer Kai some exposure but ended up overshooting. The show was too popular, and the audience's expectations were too high. Kai Yundai seemed too ordinary compared to Sun Dan on Bacter Street and the presence of white tank top. Editing could shave off segments with Bai Lion and Ning Zio, but for Kai Yundai, the latter half was all about him. There was no way to make cuts. The director exhaled a ring of smoke and lowered his head to check his phone, opening the official Weibo account for Come Here Friend. "We can cut out Miss Bai's segments, but it's tricky with Lawyer Kai's part." As he spoke, he began to read the comments to gauge the current sentiment. Seeing a comment that read, "Those two students are so pretentious," he frowned and clicked delete. Yan Lu's and Mei Yi's fans were trying their best to control the situation, but there were too many outside viewers, and they couldn't keep things under control. Scrolling to sort by popular comments, he saw the top one. "The production team is so amazing. You even invited Sun Dan. It's fine you couldn't get Dean Jian and Bai Jian for the latter part, but I thought the coming lawyer would be at Zhao Jingzhu," feeling somewhat disappointed. Zhao Jingzhu, a lawyer so renowned online as Zhao Dazhuang, was the archetype of a strong, first-class lawyer in the minds of netizens. The director couldn't help but laugh with irritation. Why don't they ask me to invite God over? Street was also connected to Yan Lu, so how could the production team have such incredible influence? If they had those connections, they'd invite stars like Gao Shu and Wei Ziyuan to be regulars on the show. They even dare to talk about Zhao Dazhuang. The assistant director spoke up, not afraid of getting a cease and desist letter from attorney Zhao Lu at all. "The heat is too high." The director, holding his phone, looked towards the door. "On such thin ice, I wonder if our show can continue." The official website's video was quickly re-edited and uploaded, and the editing related to Bai Lion and Kai Yundai was rapidly trimmed to minimize the issue. The online storm seemed to subside. Over at Bai Lion's side, neither she nor Jiang Fulai saw any problem, and they didn't go online often, just watched TV. Jiang Fulai picked up his coat and left, while Jiang he stayed with Jai Heng. He didn't bring his Legos when he returned to Jiangjing and had been sneakily keeping them at Jai Heng's place. Only after everyone left did Jiang he grab his bag to retrieve his Legos. Jai Heng brought over the pajamas he had left for him, took him to bathe, and even though Jiang he was big enough to bathe himself, Jai Heng, worried that he might be scared alone, sat beside the tub on a small stool to wait for him. Jiang he bathed obediently, and Jai Heng had even bought him a rubber duck for the tub. But Jiang he was always aloof, never playing with the rubber duck. Jai Heng, focusing on his own drawing, noticed that Jiang he began to play with the rubber duck only when he wasn't being watched, repeatedly pushing its head underwater and then watching it bob back up. After doing this dozens of times, Jai Heng, maintaining one position for 5 minutes and feeling a strain in his neck, saw that Jiang he was still poking the rubber duck and couldn't help but cough. Jiang he immediately let go of the rubber duck and scooped up water to wash his face. Only then did Jai Heng slowly lift his head. "Are you done washing?" Jiang he nodded. Jai Heng handed him a dry towel, and after Jiang he put on his pajamas himself, he glanced over at Bai Lion's tiny room. Bai Lion was in the next little room, the light inside on, allowing him to catch a glimpse of her busy silhouette through the crack of the door. Jai Heng suddenly lowered his voice. "Zio, do you know what a wave function is?" Jiang he looked up at Jai Heng, blinking in confusion. Jai Heng, okay, he didn't know. Jai Heng wondered, wasn't this kid a genius? He had an expression that said he had overestimated him. Jiang he silently finished dressing. In the tiny room, Bai Lion was carefully polishing a piece of jade with a triangular file, water dripping down the edge of the jade onto the machine as the shape of a Kylan's leg started to emerge. She polished for a bit and then looked at it leisurely in the light. Not bad. What a master could polish in a few days took her a month, and even then it was barely passable. Fortunately, only Jiang Fulai's piece was urgent, Jai Heng's was not. It gave her time to take her time with it. Monday, classes as usual. Some students in class 15 were discussing the show from the day before. Yang Lin arrived early, and by the time Bai Lion got there, she was already earnestly working on her paper. Bai Lion pulled out a chair to sit down and took a notebook from her bag, pushing it towards Yang Lin. The notebook bumped against Yang Lin's elbow, and she turned her head. "A notebook with physics and mathematics," Bai Lion said succinctly as she set down her bag. Glancing at her phone, she saw that He Wen had sent her a document. "He Wen, it's been too long since the college entrance exam, just take a look." He Wen, the results of that last experiment were a bit strange. He seemed to be busy, brief, and to the point. Bai Lion opened the document He Wen had organized and forwarded it to the class group. The results from last time were strange. As she pondered, she pulled out a pen and her exercises. She had already finished the weekend's paper. Being a senior meant endlessly practicing problems and identifying one's own weak spots. Bai Lion had almost stopped reviewing physics and mathematics, focusing instead on chemistry, biology, and English, as the countdown on the notice board showed less than 60 days until the college entrance examination. Pu Ziohan and Wang Qi ran into each other at the school gate and now came to the classroom together to see that Bai Lion, Yang Lin, Ning Zio, and the others had already started on their homework. Wang Qi opened her mouth to speak. "When I got up, I saw that Sister Lion was still answering the study committee's questions at 1 a.m. last night, right?" She came to the classroom so early to do homework. The sports committee member next to Wang Qi patted her shoulder. "This is what it means to be a top student, Bebe. Learn from it." Wang Qi didn't speak, his gaze turning to Yang Lin. Bai Lion and Ning Zio were still fine. The two didn't have to worry about other things. But Yang Lin was also working part-time. She was really pushing herself too hard. Next to Bai Lion, Yang Lin lowered her head and earnestly wrote out her test paper. When one is fighting for both livelihood and college entrance examination, no one feels tired. "Ziohen, how's the progress on our graduation gowns?" a girl asked as she sat down at Pu Ziohen's desk, inquiring about the graduation gown's progress. The school was about to organize the graduation photo session. Pu Ziohen took out her phone, swiped through the screen to open a conversation with Jai Heng, and showed her a recently sent picture. "It's this floral pattern." The girl's eyes lit up. Then she remembered something. Zio-han in last night's show was that the top student and Sister Lion. The two girls put their heads together, trying not to disturb Bai Lion and Yang Lin sitting behind them, speaking in hushed tones. Because of Wang Chi's promotion, everyone in Class 15 had watched Come Here Friend. There wasn't a clear front shot of any senior high school students, but there were shots of backs, arms, and feet. Bai Lion and her group weren't wearing mics, but her temperament was too distinctive. Those familiar with her could tell it was her. Pu Zio-hen didn't directly answer, but the girl understood. "So it really was you guys. I thought, how could ordinary high school seniors do those kinds of questions?" If it was Bai Lion, then that wasn't surprising. She breathed a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, at Jiang Fulai's residence, he had gone to the laboratory. He wasn't interested in cryptocurrency unless there was an auction of cutting-edge technology or antiques he desired. Su Nanjing didn't get any useful information from Jiang Fulai's place, he said while holding fish food. "Looks like I need to make a trip back to Jiangjing." Zio Bingwen nodded. Ming Dingheng, standing beside them, stared at the water, his usually cold face furrowed with worry. "Still worried about your little martial arts gym?" Su Nanjing didn't care about the small gym and found Ming Dingheng's concern amusing. "Lay low for a while, public opinion is like that." Ming Dingheng knew this all too well. It's the first time the gym is enrolling art students, and because of this, no students have signed up recently. Miss Bai will definitely be disappointed. "Sister Lion of the Bai family." Su Nanjing was taken aback, sitting up straight and raising his hand. "What does this have to do with her?" "The gym reopened with her support," explained Ming Dingheng, looking up. Su Nanjing tapped his fingers against the railing. He took out his phone and sent Gao Yan a message. "Find a martial arts teacher with a rank of 6th or 7th Dan. Need them to lend their name. Sister Lion's Gym of the Bai family, Jiangjing." Su family. Gao Yan sat in her seat, looking at the several people in front of her, her gaze landing on an older man with a gray beard in the center. "Elder Su, I heard your eldest son reached the 7th Dan." The major families always cultivated loyal followers, and the Su family was no exception. These were among the strongest under Su Jiuling's command. "Madam, you flatter me, it is indeed my son, Su Jiang." The older man nodded, then looked to his left. "Su Jiang." Su Jiang stepped forward, suppressing his excitement. "Su Jiang pays his respects to Madam." Was Gao Yan about to make good use of him? Others behind Su Jiang looked at him with veiled envy. "I need you to go to Xiancheng. This is very important to me," Gao Yan said to Su Jiang. "We will pay you double the salary." "Xiancheng?" Su Jiang was taken aback. Beside him, his father guessed, "Is it to protect the third young master?" "No." Gao Yan didn't hide it from them. She picked up her teacup and slowly skimmed off the froth on top. "It's to take a nominal post at a martial arts gym in Xiancheng. It won't take much of your time. The third young master has recently acknowledged a sister. The gym is hers. Once you are there, just follow her orders." Upon hearing this, Su Jiang's smile showed a hint of hesitation. He had originally thought he was going to protect Su Nanjing. After all, everyone knew that Su Nanjing was Jiang Fulai's brother. But he hadn't expected to be sent to the Xiancheng martial arts gym. Xiancheng was so far away, and once he went there, would he be able to come back? And what about the third young master's sworn sister? How long would his newfound enthusiasm last? What's more important, after traveling so far, by the time he returned, he would have to leave the Jiangjing circle. Su Jiang's father, with his great ambitions, always aimed to climb higher. Xiancheng was too risky. Lowering his gaze, he said, "Madam, Su Jiang does not have much experience in educating others, but perhaps his younger brother could." It had not been easy for the Su family's collateral branch to raise someone up. Su Jiang was meant for a smooth path ahead, and he could not afford to go to Xiancheng. Gao Yan also noticed that Su Jiang was reluctant to go, and setting down her teacup, asked, "Where is his brother?" Su Jiang's father looked back and called, "Su-hee, come meet the madam." A man in a gray coat came out, very respectful. "Madam, I am Su-hee. Have you taken a martial arts grading exam?" Gao Yan observed his honest face and nodded to herself, thinking he was a good choice. No cunning about him. Sixth Dan. He had even met the minimum requirement set by Su Nanjing. Are you willing to go to the Xiancheng martial arts gym? Su He is willing. Gao Yan, satisfied, said, All right, pack your things and head to Xiancheng tomorrow. The third young master's people will meet you there. By Kang. In the evening, at Lu Yang's side. Lu Yang's fan group had many people discussing the program, Come Here Friend. It was common knowledge among insiders that it was originally Lu Yang who was approached by the production team, but he feared that participating would affect his image as a pretty boy, so he declined. After the show became popular, Lu Yang was also mocked online, accused of dropping the watermelon while picking up sesame seeds. His main fans all knew about it. Lu Yang's agent, seeing the constant at mentions in the group, couldn't help but take a look. It was a rich female fan of Lu Yang, Strawberry Ice Cream. This shitty show even does biased editing. Was Come Here Friend trying to create a god with Lu Ji, and he refused to play along, so he dropped out. It's not what the internet rumors say about glorifying some and belittling others. Lu Ji was badly smeared last week. Seeing the messages in the group, the agent did not deny them, nor did he stop the fans from speculating. The popularity of Come Here Friend was still fermenting. Netizens like to build up idols, but they also love to tear them down. After being highly praised for 2 episodes, the show was criticized in the latter half for not meeting expectations, and unavoidably, Lu Yang was implicated. Strawberry Ice Cream, being wealthy, had more sway over Lu Yang's fans than his own studio. She directed them as she pleased. Upon watching the edited video, Strawberry Ice Cream immediately contacted her connections in the entertainment industry and drafted a PR statement. V Strawberry Ice Cream. Number Lu Yang really wronged number Come Here Friend deleted scenes at Come Here Friend Official. Can you please address the audience's questions? Why does the hall master of the Zingy Martial Arts School only have a 5th Dan? As everyone knows, a gym's teachers are crucial. You don't even have a 6th Dan teacher, so how can you go on variety shows to promote yourselves? Are you implying fraud at Xiancheng Police Station 2nd? Can the production team find someone a bit more cultured? What high school senior does these sorts of tasks now? Yan Lu and Mei you keep calling her, Miss Bai, please do your homework, okay? Do you think cutting out this section will cover up your stupidity? Screenshot last, please don't take the audience for fools. Yan Lu saying lawyer Kai Lu is amazing. Well, I don't see how he's amazing. Is his culinary skills supposed to be impressive? Is the show trying to create another deity like lawyer Zhao Jingzhu? It's completely laughable. How about you look up lawyer Zhao's resume online? Lu Yang just didn't want to join your program, and he was smeared for a whole week. Are you prepared to apologize? Yang's fans were wealthy. They threw money at popular posts and searches, and soon the hot search, Lu Yang is truly miserable, climbed to 2nd place. Casual fans who clicked in saw the analysis by Strawberry Ice Cream. Her analysis made perfect sense, and the latter half of the show had indeed disappointed the fans, who now had an epiphany after seeing the analysis. Come Here Friend had high popularity, and many people watched the live broadcast, all remembering the segment where Bai Lion and Ning Xiao discussed the topic. But the shots of the questions that followed were cut by the show's producers. Deleting hot searches and footage was already a sign of guilt, and most people, who were still skeptical, immediately believed it upon seeing the actions of the production team. I knew it. Why did the production team delete only the posts of Miss Bai, Kai Lu, and the high school students? Now I get it. Does the production team think the viewers are fools? Sorry, I was also bashing Lu Yang last week. Looking at it now, Lu Yang is truly a lotus untainted by mud. There are few artists like him in the entertainment industry. The fervor online was fermenting, and Yan Lu, Mei Yi, and the production team all faced varying degrees of slander. Many people were asking underneath the official Weibo account of Lu Yang, Lu bro, is it really like that? Lu Yang's agent's phone rang. It was Sister Zin. Sister Zin, Lu Yang's agent walked to the window and answered the phone. What does a busy person like you need from me? Let's not beat around the bush. The posts on Weibo are your team's doing, right? What will it take for you to take them down? Sister Zin was blunt. You know better than I do why Lu Yang isn't in the production team. Liu Yang's agent pretended to be dumbfounded and hesitated. Sister Zin, what are you talking about? What's happened on Weibo? Sister Zin's voice was tense as she pressed her brow. What do you want? Money or resources? Those kids really are high school seniors, and they're about to take the college entrance exam. You're going to affect their grades. Liu Yang's agent smiled, unhurried. Sister Zin, I have no idea what you're talking about. With the high Weibo popularity at the moment, he had no wish to let Liu Yang easily give up this heat. He ended the call. Are we not going to reply? The assistant asked, holding the phone, looking to Liu Yang's agent. Liu Yang's agent looked at the Weibo and flipped his phone down. For now, leave it be. We won't interfere. This wave doesn't harm Liu Yang anyway. If you want to trap the wolf, you must be prepared to sacrifice the sheep. At Wang Xin's residence. They're not budging. The director sat down in the chair, anxiety bubbling up like blisters. Bai Lion and Ning Xiao were being mocked. The Xingyi martial arts school was under suspicion, and so was Kai Yundai. The production team was suspected of orchestrating publicity for Xian Cheng. That's right. Sister Zin put down her phone and reopened Strawberry Ice Cream's Weibo, momentarily at a loss for a solution. I'll see what Yan Lu has to say. She made a call to Yan Lu. Kai Yundai's situation wasn't a big deal, but Bai Lion's wasn't easy to resolve. The show was too popular. At 11 o'clock at night, Pu Ziohen was preparing for bed when she saw a notification pop up. She frowned, clicked on it, and read through the comments. Read some books. A normal high school senior deals with these kinds of problems. Screenshot. Can we not compare everyone to Zhao Lu, please? A message popped up in WeChat from one of her classmates in class 15. It seemed many had seen the Weibo post by Liu Yang's fans. Pu Ziohen screenshotted the content and sent it to Kai Yundai. Kai Lu, aren't you going to sue them? Kai Yundai was at home, reviewing files. He held a pen in his right hand, drawing a symbol on the file. Seeing Pu Ziohen's message, he was surprised. He was indifferent to the public's opinion of him, and even found it amusing when netizens praised his cooking skills. Lawyer Kai, too bad I didn't get to show off my cake. Pu Ziohen. Lawyer Kai. Kai Yundai coughed softly, guessing that the netizens were referring to the two students, including Bai Lion. After a moment's thought, he made a phone call. At the Xiang Cheng Research Institute. It was 11 o'clock, but tonight Jiang Fulai was not planning on going home. He had just finished his work, passing along rows of tall machinery on his way out. Approaching a steel door, he swiped his fingerprint, and the doors opened from both sides. He stepped out while taking off the blue radiation suit. His hands, defined by distinct knuckles, casually carried the garment. The lights in the lab were always on, casting a cold hue on his skin, making his complexion even paler. The smartphone in his pocket rang. It was Kai Yundai. He glanced down, swiped to answer. Mr. Jiang. Even through the phone, Kai Yundai couldn't help but stand up from his chair. He put down his pen. There's something happening online. He went through the events, reporting everything to Jiang Fulai. Jiang Fulai paused mid-step, his focus always different from ordinary people. Netizens are saying that question is hard. Kai Yundai. Yes. I got it. Jiang Fulai arrived at his rest room, pushed the door open carelessly, switched on the lights, and turned on the computer to check the messages online, not caring about the issue with Xingyi Martial Arts School or Kai Yundai. But concerning Bai Lion, his light-colored eyes fixated on one comment. Miss Bai sure knows how to put on a show with student Ning. Jiang Fulai, with an indifferent look in his eyes, typed out a string of code and deleted that comment. Then he messaged Bai Lion, "What are you doing?" Bai Lion replied succinctly, sending him a picture. Picture she was writing a cipher. Bai student, you type so coldly. Feeling his anger even through the text, Jiang Fulai stopped for a moment. He didn't mention the situation online, only replied, the people at the institute are fools. Bai student, try to understand them. Jiang Fulai replied to her. Oh, he finished typing lazily. His gaze at the computer screen was exceptionally cold as he clicked open Zhao Lu's WeChat. The next day, 7 in the morning. Most people had just woken up, preparing for work. Liu Yang donned his mask, surrounded by a group of assistants as he stepped out. The agent hung up the phone, smiling at him. The crew of the Ballad of the Green Hills. Sent a message last night. They want you to audition next week. Liu Yang's side had communicated with the Ballad of the Green Hills before, but they hadn't agreed. They preferred Mei Ye's acting and popularity. Their agreement today was only due to valuing Liu Yang's current popularity. It was just then that Liu Yang's phone rang. It was his boss. Liu Yang answered immediately, and without waiting for him to speak, the boss exploded with curses. "Liu Yang, have you lost your mind, riding the wave of any trend? I've told you not to provoke the people from come here friend. Didn't you listen? What are you going to do now?" Liu Yang faltered. He had tacitly approved of last night's event. Upon hearing his boss's words, he sensed trouble and stopped to check his phone. "What happened?" The agent looked at him puzzled. Liu Yang shook his head without speaking and just opened Weibo. The app was slow to respond, so he waited a moment before proceeding. "Check what Yan Lu's side has done." The trending searches had changed to Zhao Jingzhu and Jingjiang Preparatory Camp. As the larger online community continued to indulge in the spectacle, Yan Lu's fans mourned in their groups, saying they didn't believe it and awaited Yan Lu's denial. But the night passed without any word from Yan Lu. Even at 6 in the morning, she posted a Weibo of the sun, driving her fans to despair. It was only then that Yan Lu retweeted 3 posts, and her fans, with a doomsday mentality, clicked in. The first post she retweeted was Come Here Friend official account reposting and commenting on Strawberry Ice Cream's post. Picture Let's congratulate Master Soo-hee on joining Xingyi Martial Arts School. The picture showed Soo-hee's 6th Dan certificate. The second post, Zhao Jingzhu reposted and commented on Strawberry Ice Cream's post, Kai Lu is my teacher. He was always succinct. The third post, Jiangjing Research Institute reposted and commented on Strawberry Ice Cream's post. Screenshot, let's introduce to everyone. This is the app for the Jiangjing University Preparatory Camp. Jiangjing University Preparatory Camp? What's that? Ordinary people had never even heard of this app. The top hot comment. Let me explain to everyone, Jiangjing University Preparatory Camp is prepared for top students. The top 20 in the province each year are eligible for a place. The top 200 can get into Jiangjing University, and the student in this screenshot is no 14. The netizens went completely wild. Jingzhu was the hotshot lawyer on the internet, and everyone knew that the cases he handled almost never met with defeat. When Kai Yundai appeared on Come Here Friend, the first reaction of all the netizens was, why didn't they invite Zhao Jingzhu? It wasn't until Zhao Jingzhu's Weibo post topped the trending search. Liu Yang's fans, Zhao Lu, if you're being forced, blink your eyes. Some puzzled bystanders also expressed, no, why haven't I heard about Kai Yundai online? 2 minutes later, an informed lawyer quietly commented in the section, of course, you haven't heard of him. The cases he deals with are all international serious crimes. Have you heard about the financial loophole in the NS Group the year before last? A global top 100 enterprise? Gone. Yes, he did it. Soon, another netizen threw out a screenshot. Image. People clicked on the image to find a codex of criminal law, and everyone saw the text on it. Participated in revising and writing the list. Kai Yundai, at this point, many people started reposting Strawberry Ice Cream's Weibo. You haven't heard of him. Could it be possible that he plays in the high leagues? Jiangjing University of Political Science and Law also joined the fray, retweeting the official Weibo of Come Here Friend. No wonder Professor Kai isn't coming back to give lectures. You've lured him away. Those who vie with us for Professor Kai, beware smile. Kai Yundai. Seeing these corroborating pieces of evidence, the detractors had nothing to say about manufacturing a god. Was a resume like Kai Yundai's something that could be fabricated? Apart from Kai Yundai, the focus of netizens shifted to Jiangjing Research Institute. Not many people had heard of Jingjiang Preparatory Camp, but mention Jiangjing University, and everyone knew it. It was almost the dream destination for students nationwide. Looking at the Weibo post sent out by Jiangjing Research Institute, some people even exited Weibo, then reopened it, thinking they were seeing things. So are these their daily problems? I reread the problems on my knees. The uproar was too big. By the time Liu Yang's side realized something was wrong, it was too late to pull it from the trending searches. Liu Yang sat angrily in the nanny van, his agent on the phone beside him, sweating profusely. Both had realized that this time they were really finished. Mass defections from fans, utter collapse of public favor. The agent looked at the phone that went unanswered, returned to the page. Kai Hyundai. Why wasn't this revealed on the show? He said dejectedly. And those two middle school students. He was too busy, and just then he saw the screenshot strawberry ice cream sent to the fan group. So this is true. They didn't intentionally market this. You didn't refuse to join the group because of this, did you? The agent glanced at it but didn't respond. On the other end of the phone, the girl stared at the screen, also not responding for a long time. Having been in the entertainment industry for so long, strawberry ice cream finally snapped out of it after a hasty reaction, realizing that Liu Yang's team wasn't what she had imagined. She stood up, removed all the pictures of Liu Yang from her room, quit the group, opened Weibo to check her following list, and deleted anyone related to Liu Yang. When she saw the Weibo with the word pick, she paused but ultimately didn't unfollow. A major fan's public defection has a huge impact on a star. In no time, Liu Yang lost countless fans. The Come Here Friend production team. The director watched as the trending searches rose steadily. No one Kai Hyundai no to Jiangjing University, no 3 Zhao Jingzhu, he self-medicated with water to calm his nerves. No, Sister Xin, how could you not tell me such big news earlier? Wang Xin had already known about Kai Hyundai. What caught her by surprise were Bai Lion and Ning Xiao. Would Miss Yan Lu consider doing another couple of variety shows? The director asked, looking at Wang Xin seriously, of course. It would be even better if Bai Lion could come. She's recently been focusing on honing her acting skills, preparing for her next audition. Wang Xin shook her head, putting away her phone and standing up. Don't overhype Miss Bai. Don't worry, the director said regretfully. I couldn't get the students' popularity up. Wang Xin didn't say more. She straightened her trench coat and pulled open the office door to leave. After he left, inside the office, the assistant director whispered, Yan Lu's friends, how come they're all so outstanding? They knew that the cell phone belonged to Ning Xiao, a cold and gloomy young man, a prospective Jiangjing University student. How great it would be if they could do a variety show. You were just talking about advertising for Lawyer Kai to raise his profile. Someone sitting on the far right quietly spoke up.